It's ground rule doubles, but home runs, it'll stop a few home runs, but if you hit the ball good enough and it goes out of the park, I mean, you can't stop a ball that's hit good.
You know, if somebody were writing a story, I think a kid making the jump at the age of 21 from Class A to the major leagues, coming in, breaking in with a couple of home runs in his first game. This, of course, is your first game for real. Have you got it in your mind that there's a little extra pressure on you? People came out here tonight saying, we want to see this kid hit a home run. You know that.
Oh, yeah, it puts a little pressure on me, but I'm gonna help you out and help the team out as much as I can. Gonna hit the ball hard any place. And if I can help them out in any way, hitting a home run and getting a base hit, I'm going to try my hardest.
I got a feeling on this surface and in this ballpark, if you hit it hard, things are going to happen, kind of like a pool table.
Oh, yeah, the ball will go if you get in the gap someplace.
Yeah, thank you and good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
All right, let's talk to Roy Smalley. Roy, you are, if I recall correctly, the player that holds the visiting record for hitting home runs in the Seattle Kingdom. You like to hit indoors. You're going to like this park.
Well, I do like the park. I don't know if there's any carryover. We're a long way from Seattle, and the fences are a little bit longer here than they are there. It's a pretty small ballpark, but I'll take even half of what I've done in that ballpark.
How is your back? That's, I think, the first question everybody wants to know. We haven't heard a lot about you in spring training. Did they not play you a lot, looking at some of the kids?
No, I played a lot. The reason you didn't hear about me is because I had a horrible spring. I didn't swing the bat worth a darn, but I'm feeling real good now. And, you know, there's nothing like open day to get you pumped up and ready to go. My back's fine.
I know you were hitting, you had pain hitting left-handed. Now you can hit lefty or righty. You are a switch hitter either way with no pain.
No pain at all. Hitting left-handed for the first time in almost a year. That's quite a relief, believe me.
There have been, as there always are in the spring, there have been trade rumors, and Roy Smalley and Butch Weiniger are always mentioned because let's face it, you're the two best-known players on the team. You would be the best trade bait. Do you hope maybe that the rumors are now over and you're going to be able to get into the season?
Well, I hope so. I think it's well known what I think about this town, how much I want to stay here. It was a rocky winter, not only worrying about my back, but worrying that if my back was okay, it would be okay in some other town. And I'd like to stay here. It looks like maybe the trade rumors might be over, but as you say, when you have a young club, they're going to go, the trade rumors are going to be surrounding the veteran players, especially when it's a shortstop and a catcher. They're usually the most sought-after players.
Let me ask you a question about this surface. I talked with Ken about it. It is kind of like a pool table in here. The ball will bounce around a lot. What about this? They say this is the softest turf for indoors, but it feels pretty hard to me. I don't know that I'd want to be diving for ground balls on this surface.
Well, it's going to be tough in that respect, but I think the football players are going to have more trouble with that than we are. It's a soft, artificial turf. It really is. It's the best I've ever played on, and whatever minuses there are about it being hard, the pluses of hitting on it make up for it, believe me.
All right, people are a little skeptical about this club. You're very young. But that's also an advantage because they don't expect a lot from you. You might be able to sneak up on some people.
We've got some of the best young talent I've ever seen, probably since I first came up with the Rangers with the likes of Jim Sundberg and Mike Hargrove and those guys. And I think this group might even be better than that. Ken Herbick doesn't even know how good he is. He might struggle a little bit, everybody does, but that kid's got more natural ability to hit than anybody I've ever seen, I think. And I just wish I had as much natural ability to hit as he did when I was that age. He's going to be something. Gaetti looks like he's going to be a heck of a player. Everybody's young. I'm the old man. I'm 29. I don't even have to use Grecian formula yet.
Right. Good luck to you tonight. Get off to the good start, and good luck all season.
Thanks a lot,
and
Dave.
Stay healthy, will you?
I'm going to try. I really am.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Roy Smalley and Ken Herbick, they're looking forward to opening night. It's here, and the ball game starts in about a half an hour. Tony, back to you.
Okay, Dave, and we're going to take a little break right now, but first of all, I wanted to remind you we've got lots more coming up. You're going to be meeting the rest of the Minnesota Twins. I see Mrs. Muriel Humphrey Brown right up above me. She'll be throwing out the first ball. Earl Bailey is here to sing the national anthem. All that and more. And Twins baseball coming up in the second half hour.
Here's a McDonald's egg.
We're this close to winning $500,000 in McDonald's quality game. Just complete this section. Or we could win $500,000 instantly.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. Or Coca-Cola, or scrambled eggs and sausage.
With those fresh grade A eggs.
Just think, $500,000.
Why, I can redo the hen house.
Come on, Earl. We're gonna win big.
At McDonald's, feel free again in South Dakota.
There are fewer and fewer places in America today where a person can really feel free. One of them is South Dakota. Plan a freedom vacation this summer in South Dakota. Phone toll-free right now. We'll send complete information.
In South Dakota, come feel free again.
You try running the whole store all by yourself, Nels. Don't expect any help from me. Nellie, I need a room.
What are you doing hiding behind the tree?
Nellie, I'm spying. It's my store, and I want to know what kind of business I'm doing.
Excuse me.
Visit Little House on the Prairie Wednesday afternoon at 4:30 on Channel 9.
KMSP TV, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Opening night at the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome, a special edition of Primetime News. Brought to you in part by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Copy duplicating products. And by Pella Products, windows and doors, now bringing you the Pella Sunroom. And inside the new Metrodome, it's opening night. Here is Tony Burton.
And welcome back to the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and it is opening night. Not only opening night, the official opening for the Dome, but it's also the season opener for the Twins. Twins baseball, the first ball will be thrown out right about 7:30, and Channel 9 will be here for all of that. We'll also be here for Miss Pearl Bailey, who's in town to sing the national anthem as we inaugurate this new facility. From the very beginning, when people talked about building the Metrodome in downtown, there were a lot of questions about traffic, about would downtown become just totally snarled in traffic. I think we found through the other two games, even though the turnout wasn't quite so big, that that's not the case. But there's still a lot of question on will they be able to handle 55,000 fans that are expected here tonight. More on that from Jeff Valiant.
Okay, outside here at the Metrodome where the traffic is filing by, and it hasn't been much of a problem so far tonight. It seems right out here in front that the traffic is moving pretty smoothly. The only thing we have now is a people jam out front. The basic plan of attack for traffic is the same thing as parking around the Dome, and that is don't drive to the Dome. Here's more on that plan.
The way that we think there would be a parking problem, or a traffic problem, I should say, not a parking problem, is if everyone drives directly to the stadium. Then they're all coming to the same place. But if they come from dispersed areas, as they will, and pre-select parking spaces in and around downtown, we don't think it'll be a problem.
Most events at the Dome are scheduled for the evening after rush hour or on weekends. Even if a huge crowd turns out, officials say the volume of traffic shouldn't be any higher than during a typical rush hour. Of course, a weekday game in the afternoon could cause problems, both in terms of parking and traffic. But only a few are planned this year, and the goal is to limit them in the years to come. The Hennepin County Medical Center is right across the street from the Dome, and there's been concern about how traffic will interfere with emergency vehicles. Here's the plan to deal with it.
Our traffic control people on the streets, they will keep lanes open, and of course these emergency vehicles are equipped with red lights and sirens and so forth, and they are also accustomed to driving in the downtown traffic situation. They have to deal with it every day during rush hour, and we don't expect any more cars than there would be during rush hour. As a matter of fact, probably fewer cars.
In all, 14 policemen and 80 reservists will be on hand to direct traffic at the Dome.
So far, that plan has been working quite well. As I said, the traffic is moving along, at least from our vantage point, very smoothly. About a half an hour ago, an ambulance did drive through here on its way to the Hennepin County Medical Center. No problem getting there. So that's the look for now. Back to you, Tony.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. And you heard the advice. Don't try to drive here. If you want to come, try to work out some arrangements. Take a bus or walk. And the people that own businesses, especially the restaurants and some of the bars in downtown Minneapolis, are hoping you'll take that advice and that you will walk around downtown. They're expecting a big increase in their business. That's one of the things we'll be looking at, the effect of the Metrodome. from downtown Minneapolis nightlife. We'll continue right after this.
Power into 82 on a brand new 82 Honda. From the leader, Twin City Honda Suzuki. The Aspencade, the 750, the Sabre. The entire Honda line is coming on strong. And Twin City Honda Suzuki shows them how the leader does it with the flat-out lowest prices in the cities. Honda for 82. The power of the leader from the leader. Twin City Honda Suzuki. On University Avenue across from Ward's in St. Paul.
Now, I tell you, with girls, I never had any luck, you know. Well, I used to call information just to get a woman to talk to me. You live around here? Then I found light beer for Miller. Well, light's less filling, and it really tastes great. Now, I'll tell you, since I discovered light beer, women are always talking to me, you know. Hi. You come here often?
Get lost.
See what I mean?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I tell you, she's crazy about me.
So you want one of those new small copiers. Make sure it has fiber optics and a microprocessor. You got it. Anything else? What about fast first copy time and diagnostic life? Picky. Two-sided copy. Coming up, Bundle. Hold on. Can't one copier do all this?
Only the new 7840. Even all these copiers can't equal the small, reliable 7840. Because the 7840 is the first small copier to do it all.
This is a Pella sunroom. It can take your home from dull to dramatic, from dark to light. The Pella sunroom is for relaxing, for having fun, and for entertaining. There's a Pella
For the Pella showroom nearest you, call 623-7640 or check the yellow pages.
Here at the Metrodome, there are many ways to watch a game. Probably the most comfortable and certainly the most luxurious is to use one of the beautiful suites. I mean, it's living life to the fullest when you can watch from one of these things. And they're expensive, too. The cost is about $30,000 per year. There are 115 of these suites in the Dome Stadium. They're operated by the Vikings, though they're usable during Twins games as well. The menu provides liquor and food. And the prices? Well, they're pretty steep. The facilities include running water, refrigerator, ice machine, as well as a color TV set. The suites are mostly rented by corporations, some individuals as well. If you can afford it, it's a wonderful way to watch a football or a baseball game. That's Dope on the Dome. I'm Warren Dahlstrom.
Hey, Warren, and it looks like really from just about anywhere in this facility is a good place to watch any kind of sports action that's going on. I imagine some of the seats way up and back near the scoreboard might be a little bit tough, though. We talked a little bit earlier about all this traffic and pedestrian traffic, especially in the downtown area. What it's going to do to Minneapolis nightlife? Well, a lot of people are hoping that Minneapolis nightlife is going to really pick up. That was the subject we asked Debbie Emblem to investigate. Debbie?
Well, the success of the Dome will be measured in part on its impact on the city, and so far things look pretty positive. City officials are predicting good things financially. Businesses, bars, and restaurants are counting on it.
Downtown Minneapolis has earned its reputation for being alive with action during the day and then downshifting to a low-key nighttime scene. The problem for many center cities is that a dark, quiet downtown is perceived to be an unsafe place to visit, so it decays. But crime is not a major problem in downtown Minneapolis, especially since the city has attempted to beef up policing in recent weeks. And Mayor Fraser says the Dome's presence shouldn't increase crime. He says if there are more people on the streets, there's safety.
I would tend to see the crime problem being even less, and if not less, statistically less in perception. People feel even more secure and comfortable than they may feel today.
The downtown area is changing, largely because of the Metrodome. Downtown businesses predict the Metrodome's capacity to draw thousands of people will create a whole new ballgame for them. Preliminary studies project the Dome will increase retail and entertainment sales by $500 million over the next 5 years. And everybody from department stores to hotels eagerly await their piece of it. Downtown hotels are already receiving bookings related to stadium games. Even the hotels and motels along the Bloomington Strip hope to persuade longtime Met Stadium patrons to stick with them. They're selling convenience. The Registry, the Thunderbird, and others are offering weekend package deals with hassle-free bus transportation to the Dome. And the ailing downtown bar and restaurant business is counting on the Dome to be their financial savior. Some are revamping menus and offering drink specials, or giving away autographed baseballs and providing shuttle service to the games. Chic's Cafe is changing their entire format, hoping to shake a rather formal reputation and bring in the fans.
We want to change the perception of people so that they understand that we're just a casual, fun, exciting place to come before or after a sporting event.
So they've added light dinners to their menu, and they're serving Sunday brunches. They've altered their existing music format to include live music. They've also taken up the carpeting and they're remodeling to create a more comfortable feeling. And there's the 2-for-1 gimmick, with a Twins ticket stub, of course, that Chic's and other night spots are offering to attract the pre- and post-game clientele. And their gamble ought to be a safe one, since over 1 million people a year are expected to use the Dome, and that's just for Twins games. After all, it's not only sports fans the downtown businesses hope to attract. There are other potential uses for the stadium, like concerts, national conventions, or religious crusades. The Stadium Commission says they haven't made any firm commitments yet, but the Dome will rent for a mere $20,000 per event. Amidst ongoing neighborhood concern, promoters are hoping to rent the stadium for concert sellout situations. Their intent is to stage national talent that can draw over 20,000 people.
You're talking about events such as Styx, Police, and we're looking at bringing back Police, REO, Speedway, and The Who if they go on tour again.
Out of all this potential business, the Dome creates more jobs.
It has added a number of jobs to our economy. The economic data before the stadium was built indicated that would approximate about 2,800 jobs.
The Milwaukee Railroad site is just one example of the economic benefits of the stadium. It's been for sale for 10 years, but since the Dome's inflation, many national developers see it as one of the ripest downtown developments in the country. Most observers say the Dome may attract other enterprises that now will seem juicy to investors. Companies are beginning to reevaluate the space they're in, now that there'll be more people seeking new downtown activities.
So from the looks of things, it looks as if the Dome is going to be serving as a sort of magnet, drawing people and dollars to the city. Even Hennepin Avenue is going to be upgraded. And from the looks of things, Tony, the sky's the limit. Back to you.
Okay, Debbie, thank you very much. And as you can see, Muriel Humphrey has on her Minnesota Twins hat right now. She's getting ready to throw out the first ball of the game. Governor Quee standing right behind her. We're apparently looking up into the celebrity section there. The game should be starting in just about 12 minutes from now. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we should be meeting the members of this year's Minnesota Twins. We'll also be going up to the Channel 9 box with Bob Kurtz and Larry Osterman right after this.
American business is being taken over by revolutionaries. Revolutionary Savin copiers. Savin's advancing in New York, surrounding Dallas. Savin's winning over banks and brokerage houses. Why is big business going for Savin in a big way? Because Savins are fast, economical, and remarkably reliable. In fact, last year, Savin outplaced Xerox and IBM combined. So if you haven't noticed the revolution, you will.
When you're a big guy like me, people always want to see just how strong you are. So after this arm works, this arm always relaxes with light beer from Miller. The light's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer, and it tastes great. What I like about it, it's less filling. So when you're at a hot match like this, you can't afford to get filled up.
You have the time?
Yeah. About 8:30.
Yeah, thanks.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Next.
This is a Pella sunroom. It can take your home from dull to dramatic, from dark to light. The Pella sunroom is for relaxing, for having fun, and for entertaining. There's a Pella sunroom for you, only.
For the Pella showroom nearest you, call 623-7640 or check the yellow pages. Motorcraft 10W40 motor oil, just 59 cents per quart. Motorcraft FL1A oil filters, just 79 cents each. After rebates at Crown Auto Stores.
Okay, welcome back to the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. We're getting down to within 10 minutes of game time now. The Minnesota Twins are being introduced to the fans here. So for more on the Minnesota Twins, I'm going to take you up to our specialists, Bob Kurtz and Larry Osterman.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Once again, good evening, everyone. And as Tony said, Larry, just about 10 minutes from opening day 1982.
Countdown continues, and we'd like to ship it downstairs once again to Tom Mee, who is introducing the 1982 Minnesota Twins.
All the way from Wisconsin Rapids in center field, number 4, Jim Eisenreich. In the designated hitter role tonight, Baseball Digest's Rookie of the Year in the American League in 1981, number 32, Gary Ward. Another outstanding rookie of 1981 and the International League batting champion of 1980 in right field, number 20, Dave Engel. The cleanup hitter for the Twins, who has feasted on indoor pitching, the leading opposition player in the league as far as home runs in the Kingdome with 11, number 5, Roy Smalley. Another Minnesota native coming off a sensational spring in which he tied the all-time club home run record set by Harmon Killebrew in 1967, number 14, Kent Herbeck. Another outstanding prospect at third base coming off 36 home runs in 1981, Gary Gaetti, number 8. Catching for the Twins tonight, a veteran, the veteran of the squad in his 7th year as a Twin, number 16, Butch Weiniger. Another veteran and the all-time American League record holder defensively at second base, number 7, Rob Wilfong. The left fielder for the Twins tonight, a hustler and the Pacific Coast League batting champion of 1979, number 9, Mickey Hatcher. And warming up in the bullpen, the Twins starting pitcher tonight, number 17, Pete Redfern. The balance of the squad for the Twins, coming off spinal surgery last fall, but making a strong recovery, number 2, third baseman John Castino. A very pleasing addition to the Twins over the winter for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Bobby Mitchell.
We'll be back with more activities from the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome in just a moment, so don't go away.
This is a Pella sunroom. It can take your home from dull to dramatic, from dark to light. The Pella sunroom is for relaxing, for having fun, and for entertaining. There's a Pella sunroom for you, only at your Pella.
For the Pella showroom nearest you, call 623-7640 or check the yellow pages.
So you want one of those new small copiers. Make sure it has fiber optics and a microprocessor. You got it. Anything else? What about fast first copy time and diagnostic life? Picky. Two-sided copy. Coming up, Bundle. Hold on. Can't one copier do all this?
Only the new 7840. Even all these copyists can't equal the small, reliable 7840. Because the 7840 is the first small copier to do it all.
We got them all. That means it's Miller time. Come on, I'm buying.
Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Motorcraft 10W40 motor oil, just 59 cents per quart. Motorcraft FL1A oil filters, just 79 cents each. After rebates at Crown Auto Stores.
Well, the Metrodome is rapidly filling on this opening night of the 1982 baseball campaign as the final Twins are being introduced to this crowd that will be very close to 55,000.
Well, Larry, I don't think they could have picked a better weekend to open the Dome in the American League this afternoon. Toronto at Detroit, Boston at Chicago, Cleveland at Milwaukee, and Texas at New York, all postponed because of the weather. In the National League, Montreal at Pittsburgh wiped out, and New York at Philadelphia wiped out. As a matter of fact, at the Metrodome at noon tomorrow, it's going to be the Chicago White Sox against the Toronto Blue Jays. They're flying their squads here so they can get some more exhibition play because of all the bad weather around not only the Midwest but also the eastern portion of the country. It is so bad in the east that the Boston Red Sox have sent their club back to Florida.
Well, it is nice inside. You can see it's a little bit cool on the exterior. It has been a very festive evening thus far, and the only thing that could possibly make it any better is a big Minnesota Twins victory.
Affordable small computers for your home. Computers that don't just entertain, but challenge. That don't just teach, but make your children want to learn. To meet the small computer that meets your needs, meet the people at Computerland.
At Computerland, we know small computers. Let us introduce you.
KMSP TV, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
The view from outside here at the Metrodome as the ceremonies continue down on the field, and here is Don Rutger.
I want to officially welcome the Minnesota Twins to their new home, the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. And I want to thank Kelvin Griffith and the Twins organization for showing their loyalty to our area by entering into a long-term lease to play in the Metrodome. We hope they enjoy their new home, and we wish them many winning years. Our commission members, whose dedicated public service was key to the success of this project, join me in thanking everyone who has helped make this stadium a reality, and in giving...
Stay with us now. We'll be back with the start of tonight's 1982 baseball season in just a few moments.
The following is a Channel 9 sports presentation.
It's Baseball 82. Tonight, April 6, 1982. The first American League baseball game from the beautiful new Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis. It's the Minnesota Twins versus the Seattle Mariners. Tonight's game is brought to you by Midwest Federal at the sign of the good tree to come to for shelter. Midwest Federal serving this area with strength and stability for over 90 years. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Skelly Premium Unleaded. At Skelly, we want you to get the most out of your car. True Value Hardware Stores, more than just a name. It's our way of doing business.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Miss Pearl Bailey singing our national anthem as we get ready for the start of the 1982 American League baseball season here at the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome. Hi, everybody. This is Larry Osterman along with Bob Kurtz. We welcome you to the first of 50 telecasts that will be taking place throughout the 1982 campaign. It has been a very festive evening. A lot of excitement in the area, and we're going to go down to the field now for the throwing out of the ceremonial first balls, one by Muriel Humphrey Brown, one by John Coles Jr., and one by Harvey McKay. You can see Mrs. Brown with the Twins cap on. She threatened to throw a spitball at yesterday's luncheon, the Welcome Home Twins luncheon. See Mr. Brown seated at her left, and there is a nice picture of Muriel. Butch Weiniger will be the recipient. I don't see that he's wearing the big glove, Robert.
No, not expecting a knuckleball or even the spitball, though Gaylord Perry is here, of course, with the Seattle Mariners, now the oldest player in Major League Baseball, and maybe he's giving her a few tips.
Very delightful talk given by Mrs. Brown at yesterday's luncheon. Looks like she's not going first.
And now,
it's Don Poss, who helped build this stadium, the man in charge, taking the catch there.
his first ball to Mr. Dan Brucker. Attaboy, John. Uh-oh. First error of the season. And now, Mrs. Brown, if you will, she was kidding Butch Weiniger at the luncheon yesterday that she was going to load one up on him today. So Butch is ready, if you will, Butch. See if you can handle Mrs. Humphrey Brown's finest and hardest offering. Good pitch. Attaboy. The season is underway. Play ball.
Well, there you're looking at some 54,000 plus who have gathered here at the Metrodome for the opening of the 1982 baseball campaign. A lot of enthusiasm among the very young Twins who will be taking the field here this evening. And as far as youth is concerned, the Seattle Mariners have plenty of their own with 7 rookies on the squad. The Twins have 6, and a lot of them will be seeing action here this evening. This is out of doors in downtown Minneapolis. A cool, calm evening. Indoors, the excitement prevails. It is warm, 72 degrees.
Now, it's more than cool out there. It's downright cold. It was about 30 degrees, we understand, at game time. And again, all the other openers scheduled for the East and the Midwest called off on account of the weather. There are the umpires. Bill Haller will be calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. Jerry Neudecker will work at first base. George Maloney will be at second, and Ken Kaiser will be at third. We'll be back for the first pitch of the 1982 season after this.
I'm a native Midwesterner. That's me when I was a drama student at the University of Minnesota. I'm Peter Graves for Midwest Federal. Time passes quickly, so don't wait to start thinking about your retirement. You can have a tax-deferred IRA Plus account at Midwest Federal, even if you have a company retirement plan. That's new for 82. The Plus is a free safe deposit box. So shore up your retirement savings with an IRA Plus account at Midwest Federal. Do it today. You'll be glad tomorrow.
Unique Keepsake Diamond Centers, Minnesota's engagement ring headquarters, presents the largest selection of styles anywhere. Unique Keepsake Diamond Centers, Burnsville Center, Eden Prairie Center, and Maplewood Mall.
Weeknights at 5:30, it's comedy that can't be beat, beginning with Good Times.
I recognize that any place. Looks just like me, slim, black, and dynamite!
Then at 6, lock up the laughs with Barney Miller.
I got the respect to every hooker and deviant between Times Square and the Village. Can you say that?
I don't think so.
You betcha.
And at 6:30, the fun is all in the family.
Little by little, piece by piece, you'll eat my heart out. I don't care.
It's comedy fun that just can't be beat with Good Times at 5:30, Barney Miller at 6, and All in the Family at 6:30, right here on Channel 9.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners as we get ready for the start of the 1982 campaign. Julio Cruz leads off. He's playing second base. Manny Castillo batting the number 2 spot. He's playing over at third. In left field, Bruce Bhakti batting in the number 3 spot. Then it's the designated hitter Richie Zisk. In the number 5 spot, Al Cowens, recently acquired by the Mariners. He's playing in right field. Joe Simpson is in center field. Youngster Jim Mailer is playing over at first base. Veteran catcher Jim Essien is hitting in the number 8 spot. And Todd Cruz, the shortstop, in the number 9 position. So the Mariners will present a Cruz-Cruz combo at shortstop and second base in a double play combination. As far as the Twins are concerned, they'll be sending Pete Redfern to the mound. Pete, of course, had that red-hot last half, winning the last 5 starts in 1981 season, and will be making his debut here tonight as the opening night pitcher. Redfern 9 and 8 on the 1981 campaign with a 4.06 earned run average. He didn't have a great spring statistically, but he says he is really pumped up for this one. He pitched the first 2 innings of Saturday's exhibition against the Phillies, and he said, I was so excited I had to kind of calm myself down for that one. But with this crowd and the enthusiasm displayed by this crowd and the enthusiasm among the young Tigers, Twins themselves, it certainly is going to be one of those nights where everybody is pumped up. And that's the way it is on opening night, regardless of the fact that you're a veteran or you're a rookie. As Bob mentioned, Bill Haller will be calling the balls and strikes tonight. Jerry Neudecker is working at first base. George Maloney at second, and Kenny Kaiser is the up over at third base. Some of the dignitaries who were expected to be on hand here this evening were delayed. As a matter of fact, they had to cancel because of the bad weather in the east. The baseball commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, was unable to leave LaGuardia Airport because of the bad weather, and he was due in here. Joe Cronin came in early. He's the chairman of the American League. Lee McPhail, the president of the American League. They are both here. This is the big scoreboard that is high atop the left field stands as it spells out the Twins defensively. Hatcher in left, the young rookie Eisenreich in center, Dave Engel in his second year in right, and here's Pete Redfern, who has concluded his warm-up tosses, and we're about ready to go. The infield for the Twins, Gary Gaetti, the rookie at third, Roy Smalley, the shortstop, Rob Wilfong is the second baseman, the rookie Kent Herbeck is playing over at first base, Butch Weininger doing the catching, and Pete Redfern is on the mound. We're all ready to go with the first pitch of the 1982 season, and here's Bob Kurtz. Robert?
Okay, thank you, Larry. Once again, good evening, everyone. Left-handed hitting Julio Cruz, who hit .240 in spring training for the Mariners, will lead it off against hard-throwing Pete Redfern. The first pitch of 82 is strike. Cruz had 6 hits in 25 trips to the plate during the Cactus League season in Arizona this spring. Looks at a curveball in for strike 2. So Pete Redfern out in front of Cruz 0-2. One of the more interesting ground rules here as you watch a game at the Metrodome. If anything should hit the ceiling or hit a light or a speaker, it is in play. Swing and a miss. Redfern blazes 3 straight past Cruz. And 1 gone for Seattle here in the first inning.
Midwest Federal and KMSP Television have purchased the broadcast rights to the Minnesota Twins baseball games for the pleasure of the viewing audience. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction of this copyrighted telecast is permitted without the written authority of the Minnesota Twins, KMSP Television, or Midwest Federal.
Manny Castillo is the hitter. 302 in the spring, 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. He came to Seattle as he looks at a breaking ball over for a strike from the Kansas City Royals. He hit .335 at Omaha last year. He's 24 years old, but has spent already 8 years in minor league baseball. Redfern backs him away with a fastball, and the count all even now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's Bill Haller. And something dropped over the rail, apparently, down the first baseline, and that's now being removed.
You were talking earlier about hitting something suspended from the ceiling here. There's not nearly the...
Fly ball left field. Hatcher moving over, looks up into the canvas and makes the catch. 2 up and 2 gone as Redfern starts to mow him down here in the early going.
There's not nearly the amount of materials hanging from the ceiling here as there is the Kingdome in Seattle. They have a lot of speakers. They have a lot of basketball games there, and there's just all kinds of stuff there. But the tremendous sound system they have here at the Metrodome is in the periphery of the playing field. So the chances of it hitting anything here are rather remote.
Bruce Bhakti in left field tonight for Seattle, the number 3 hitter. He was the first baseman a year ago, but with the rookie Jim Mailer coming on, Mailer making the ball club and getting the start at first base tonight, Bhakti has had to be moved back to the outfield. 1 ball and no strikes. Beat Redfern 9-8 with the Twins last year, 4.06 ERA. Catches the corner with that one, and the count now even at a ball and a strike. But Redfern won his last 5 starts, and over the last 5 starts, posted an run average of 2.65. One pitch from Redfern, breaking ball inside, and the count now goes 2-1 on Bhakti. Redfern, a product of the University of Southern California. They've always talked about his stuff, Larry, ever since he came up, and they think that he might have put it together at the tail end of last year. Other breaking ball, 1 hop to Roy Smalley at short. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. And after 1, Seattle nothing with the Twins coming.
For 12 years, we've enjoyed bringing you exciting Twins action on radio and television through our exclusive broadcast rights. And now, as we move into the 13th year and the new Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, we're more excited than ever about building of the Metrodome. This is an ultra-modern facility and it's a welcome addition for professional sports in this area. And I know you fans will enjoy it. The new dome is truly a good place to come to for shelter and the best in Major League sports. I hope to see you at some of the games this summer, and I'm sure you'll want to join me in saying good luck in '82.
Get that winter oil out of your car. Get an oil change, lube, filter, and free 10-point maintenance check while you watch. Save $3 by mentioning Rapid Oil Change's spring sale. The spring sale is good through May 15th. Remember, there's still one place you don't need an appointment.
Bob Kurtz and Larry Osterman back here at the Metrodome, and Larry is standing by with a very, very special guest. Larry?
Bob, we're pleased to have Mrs. Muriel Humphrey Brown with us this evening, and we welcome you to this ballpark, and we'd like to have your thoughts.
Thank you. Larry, it's so exciting to be here. I don't know whether I can talk straight or not. I had goosebumps listening to Pearl Bailey sing our beautiful anthem. I think everybody in the park must have had goosebumps like I did. But the culmination of this great stadium for the people of Minnesota and for everybody around, for the whole area, is just so exciting. It will mean so much for everybody all through the years.
Well, it couldn't have been named after a finer man.
Well, it's true, because Hubert loved politics, but I'll tell you, he loved people and sports more, and that's what this Dome Stadium is all about.
Mrs. Brown, thank you very much for coming by.
Thanks, Larry. It's good to be here. I'm so excited.
We all are. Bob?
Okay, Jim Eisenreich was the leadoff hitter for the Twins. He picked on the first pitch, hit one hop to Todd Cruz at shortstop, as you saw. Eisenreich, one pitch, one away, and the designated hitter, Gary Ward, will now be the hitter for the Twins. Gary, the Baseball Digest Rookie of the Year a year ago, had a fine spring for Minnesota, hitting .286 down in Orlando. Looks at strike one from Floyd Bannister, who won 9 and lost 9, and posted an earned run average of 4.46 in 1981. Hard-throwing left-hander out of Arizona State. Ward goes fishing, and the count is now 0-2. Ward hit .264 for the Twins last year, his first full season as a Major League ball player. It included 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in. Bannister with the 0-2 count, bounces one up, and the count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bill Haller chasing it down. You can notice the difference back behind home plate here in the Metrodome. The Met in a lot of ballparks, the seats are right down along the field, but here they're 9 feet up. Bannister had a very consistent spring for the Mariners until his final outing last Thursday. We'll tell you about that as Ward skies one deep to center field. There's a lot of room in the ballpark. Joe Simpson, the center fielder, goes over and makes the catch. So 2 up and 2 gone for the Twins here in the first inning. We were talking about Bannister in his final outing of the spring last Thursday at Tempe against the Giants, Larry. There was a 35-mile-an-hour wind blowing straight out. Bannister got the win, but the final score was 18-16 in favor of Seattle.
I saw that box score. I couldn't believe it. That'll take the old ERA up in a hurry, won't it?
Dave Engel, the right fielder, the third hitter for the Twins. Dave did not have a good spring. He hit 183 in the Grapefruit League. He didn't get off to a great start last year in his rookie year with the Twins, but boy, after the strike, he put some things together, hitting .277 for the rest of the season. Wound up hitting .258 overall, 5 home runs and 32 runs batted in. Drive to left field, going back is Bachty. It could be. That one is gone. A home run for Dave Engel. And the Twins lead by a score of 1-0. The first hit and the first round tripper here in regular season play in the Metrodome. Home run for Engel, 1-0 Twins.
Dave Engel, who didn't have a red-hot spring, he got it all here. It was right down in his power. And he drilled it, and you'll hear still another reaction as it is replayed on the scoreboard as you see the replay on your home receiver.
Well, they were saying the ball carried pretty well to right here. I'd say it carried pretty well to left. That went over the 343-foot mark right down the left field line. And here's the Twins cleanup hitter, the shortstop, Roy Smalley. Bannister gets it over for strike one. Smalley hit .234 this spring. Had a home run, 3 runs batted in. Of course, you know his story a year ago. That back sidelined him for much of the year. Wound up hitting .263, but still led the team in home runs with 7. Doesn't have a particularly strong swing at that one. There's Engel on the Minnesota bench. He's a happy young man. Two strikes, the count to Smalley. Strike 3 called as Bannister blazed a fastball on the outside part of the
Lincoln's my name, and bowling's my game.
Gutter ball, gutter ball.
How are you going to score there?
Come on. 3 strikes and you're out.
We just won another round of light beer from Miller.
Yeah, light sure tastes great.
Let's fill it. Tastes great.
Wait a minute.
There it is, down there. Take your time.
8 ball in the pocket.
Bubba, this ball doesn't have any holes in it. Yeah, it does.
The score's all even.
Glass frame. Who's up?
Rodney.
Rodney! Gotta be a mistake. Hey, you kidding? It's a piece of cake.
All we need is 1 pin, Rodney.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I didn't get my turn yet. I'm gonna break this tie.
Richie Ziss swings at the first offering from Pete Redfern to start the second inning. And Jim Eisenreich, who can really scoot out in center field, moves over to make the catch. We were talking to manager Billy Gardner at the luncheon yesterday, and he said that young man is the fastest man on the squad.
I'll tell you, out here Sunday afternoon, he beat out an infield bouncer that I don't know who else would have beaten it out, and he also went into the hole and cut off what could possibly have turned into a triple and held into a single. He can really fly.
Al Cowens is the hitter now for Seattle. He's the right fielder. He was purchased by the Mariners from the Detroit Tigers at the tail end of spring training. Last year with Detroit, he hit .261 in 85 games. Looks at that one up high for ball 1. Tail end of spring training with the Mariners, Cowens picked up 8 hits and 19 trips. That figures to a .421 average. Strike 2 called. Redfern looks extremely impressive. Scoreboard has 1-1. Cowens, of course, spent the bulk of his career with Kansas City. 1-1 offering from Redfern, curveball in for strike 2, so now it's 1-2. Pops it up, shallow left field. Smalley going back from shortstop and makes the catch like Ahmad Rashad right over the shoulder. Nice running catch by shortstop Roy Smalley.
I believe that Mickey Hatcher lost that ball in the ceiling. He really had a better look at it than Roy did, but Smalley stayed right with it, and Hatcher said, "You take it, I don't see it." And Roy makes a fine catch over the shoulder. We're talking with Carl Keel about this ceiling. He says, actually, it's easier to see the ball there during the daylight hours than it is during the evening, which was a bit of a surprise.
Joe Simpson is the hitter. He looks up at 1 high and away. 1 ball and no strikes to Simpson. Simpson hit .271 for the Mariners this spring, picking up 13 hits on 48 trips to the plate.
Officially, it's 28 degrees outside, Robert. And it's a very pleasant 70-degree reading indoors.
1 ball and 1 strike to count on Simpson. Pete Redfern's retired all 5 Mariners. There's a fly ball, center field. Eisenreich moves over. 3 up, 3 down for Seattle in the second. After an inning and a half, it's still the Twins 1, the Mariners nothing.
Power into 82 on a brand new 82 Honda. From the leader, Twin City Honda Suzuki. The Aspencade, the 750, the Sabre. The entire Honda line is coming on strong. And Twin City Honda Suzuki shows them how the leader does it with the flat-out lowest prices in the cities. Honda for 82. The power of the leader from the leader. Twin City Honda Suzuki. On University Avenue across from Ward's in St. Paul.
The Plumbery, a good idea place, can help you with all your plumbing, heating, and remodeling needs. The Plumbery has everything from gaskets to faucets, and now they can show you how to save on your heating bills with the energy-efficient gas boiler from Weil-McLain. The Weil-McLain gas boiler will pay for itself often in only 2 or 3 years. To learn more about the advantages of gas heat and the energy-efficient Weil-McLain gas boiler, stop at your nearest Plumbery store. The Plumbery is located in 38 cities: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and South Dakota.
When you've worked up a taste for something really refreshing, remember, it's fresh milk that's this cold, this pure, this bright taste, this breezy feeling, and best of all, this good. That's milk, the fresher refresher.
I'll make a note now. The first Jacket Day is April 11th. That's the first Sunday afternoon game of the season. The first 20,000 youngsters 16 years and younger will receive Twins jackets plus Treating You Right coupons. The Twins will be facing the California Angels right here at 1:15 Sunday the 11th. Robert?
Kent Herbeck. Bannister bends the breaking ball across for a strike. Herbeck had 2 towering home runs against Philadelphia out here on Saturday. Strike 2. Left-hander battling the left-hander. On deck for Minnesota, Gary Gaetti. Herbeck holds up, and the count goes 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, we talked about this last year, Bob, and it was very clear again, the second home run that he hit on Saturday. He stands in against the left-handers.
Bannister, pretty good thrower there from the left side. Turns the fastball loose again, and the count now goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. They got him on strikes. That's strikeout number 2 recorded by Bannister. Struck out Smalley Cole to end the first inning following the home run by Engel, and that will bring up Gary Gaetti. You recall the situation last year in Arlington, Texas. Arlington Stadium. It was a 1-1 pitch, his first major league at bat from Charlie Huff, the old knuckleballer, and Gaetti lost it. Sends this one deep to left center field. Bhakti going back. That's well hit. It's off the wall. Rounding second, heading for third is Gaetti. Simpson to center fielder, chasing it down. Gaetti's going for it inside the park. Home run. He slides. He is out at home plate. Oh, he made a bid, but they cut him down as Essien puts the tag on Gaetti. Carl Keel never hesitated at third base. He just kept that arm swinging, and Gaetti roared around third.
Well, it took a perfect play to get him, if indeed they did get him. We'll take another look. This ball very nearly cleared the wall. It scooted away after hitting the wall, bouncing towards center field. Gaetti with a full head of steam going into third base, and Carl Keel never let up, just kept winding. Now watch this play. It'll be scored 8-6-2. It was a perfect throw. A head first slide, and I
thought
out.
he was safe. But
first time around, he looked a little bit safe from up here. But
yeah, but Haller's been there a while, so he had the better view than everybody. But look for a second there, like he might have snuck in. 8-6-2 if you're keeping score. Simpson, the center fielder, to Todd Cruz, the shortstop, to Essien behind the plate.
It's scored as a triple, and the putout is 8-6-2 if you're keeping score.
There's the play at the plate. It is close. 2-0 the count on Butch Weiniger as a called strike. Gary Gaetti. Jim Eisenreich there in the dugout. Gaetti's the one on the far side.
He's the one puffing.
Down even on Butch now at 2-2. Weiniger hit .270 this spring. Of course, was bothered by a variety of ailments a year ago. First the elbow, underwent surgery for that, then a shoulder a little later on in the year. It was a lost season for Butch, but he intends to make a strong comeback this year as that one's high and away, and the count goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Twins have 2 hits, a home run by Engel, a triple by Gaetti. 3-2 to Weiniger. Butch didn't see the ball get away from the catcher, Jim Essien, and Essien tosses over to first base. That'll be scored a strikeout 2-3 if you're keeping score. That'll do it for the Twins in the second, and after 2, still Minnesota 1 and Seattle nothing.
At 5 o'clock, where might you be? What about 5:30? And 6 o'clock? Chances are you've missed the network and the local news. But every weeknight at 9, Channel 9 brings you everything you want in a local and a network newscast at a more convenient time. We're committed to bringing you a crisp, concise, and complete newscast at a better time. Primetime News, weeknights at 9, here on Channel 9.
Madam, we need fuel.
Not here, James. I always buy from an oil company I own.
Don't forget to fill it up at Cenex.
I know, because you always buy from the oil company you own.
When you own part of Cenex, doesn't it make sense to buy from Cenex?
Cenex is the country way, 'cause Cenex is you.
Now, I tell you, with girls, I never had any luck, you know. Well, I used to call information just to get a woman to talk to me. You live around here? Then I found light beer for Miller. Well, light's less filling, and it really tastes great. Now, I'll tell you, since I discovered light beer, women are always talking to me, you know. Hi. You come here often?
Get lost.
See what I mean?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I tell you, she's crazy about me.
Bob Kurtz and Larry Osterman back here at the Metrodome, downtown Minneapolis, through 2 innings. No runs, no hits for Seattle. 1 run on 2 hits for the Twins. To call the play-by-play the next couple of innings, let's call in Larry Osterman.
Okay, Bob, it'll be Jim Mailer, Jim Essien, and Todd Cruz, and he is greeted with a base hit. Mailer jumping on the first offering from Pete Redfern and collects the first single of the night for the Mariners. They got it up at the letters, and Mailer didn't make a mistake. He had a good year last year in the Pacific Coast League at Spokane, hitting .306 with 19 homers and 99 RBIs. They're counting on him to handle that first base spot. Here's the veteran Jim Essien, who came over from Chicago. 1 ball. Essien extremely pleased to go from Chicago to Seattle, despite the fact that Chicago is a strong candidate for Western Division honors, and the Mariners are not, but at least he's going to get a chance to play. There's a ground ball through for a base hit on the left side. So back-to-back singles after Pete Redfern had retired the first 6 men to face him. And the Mariners are kicking up their heels here in the 3rd inning.
Gary Gaetti a little upset with himself down at third base. He could have got over and gloved that. It was a possible double play for the Twins, but it scoots pretty quick on this carpet.
Yes, it does. Todd Cruz, who also came over from Chicago, missed all of last season because of injuries. He's the shortstop. He had a good spring, hitting .314 for the Mariners. Infield in, halfway at double play depth. 1 ball, no strikes. Chuck Cartier, the third base coach, relaying the signals from Relay Latchman. There's Cartier. Actually, it's Cartier. Chuck Cartier.
Old infielder.
That's right. Not so old.
Well,
former infielder. And the first base coach,
he was a heck of an outfielder.
Veda Pinson. Count is 2-0 to Cruz. Ground ball left side. Might be a pair. Nope. Runners were moving, and they get the hitter Todd Cruz, and the runners move up. So there's 1 gone.
Obviously a good move by Latchman. Had the guys going.
The second baseman.
Made out of the double play. We go to the top of the order from one Cruz to the other.
Julio had the big season last year, had 43 stolen bases. Hit .286, second in the American League in stolen bases. I think he had, what, 15 in a row before it was finally nailed. He was a strikeout victim as a leadoff man in the 1982 season. Ground ball up the middle will tie the ball game. Possibly put the Mariners in front. Here's Eisenreich's throw to the plate. It is not in time, and the Mariners take a 2-1 lead. Julio Cruz comes up with a single that gets a couple home for the Mariners, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Another look at it. Down low at the knees, he golfs it up the middle into center field. Eisenreich up with the ball, makes a bid to cut down the runner at the plate. Ken Herbeck lets it go. And Cruz, despite all of his speed, stopped at first base. That's where he is right now.
2 in and 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. The Mariners lead at 2-1. 1 strike to count to Manny Castillo. He flied to left the opening inning. Oh, Redfern, after breezing through the first 2, has been tagged for a couple of runs and 3 hits here in the 3rd inning. Pitch out, but nothing is on, and Cruz holds at first base. Well, we see a few empty seats around the old ball yard tonight.
Well, there's a reason for that, and we'll get into it later here, Larry. The reason being is that there were tickets printed for seats that were not in existence. There were also double printing of other seats, so the Twins had to hold some back. So when everybody got into the ballpark and they found their seat was not existent, they could move them around. So they don't think they'll reach the 54,711 figure, but it should be well over 54,000.
Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Quick toss over to first. Castillo came to this ball club from Kansas City. He spent all of last season in Omaha. Had a good spring for the Mariners. There's a drive to right field coming over his angle. He cannot get it. It goes all the way to the wall. Cruz is headed for 3rd base. He is being waved home. Here comes the relay, and he'll score easily. It's 3-1 as Manny Castillo drives home the 3rd run of the ball game for the Mariners. It'll be scored as a double.
Again, Redfern got that one up high, and there's the problem with the carpet here. All the way to the wall it goes. Eisenreich scooted over. They scored a double, and they say that Castillo took 3rd on the throw. There's Julio Cruz. He's, of course, got great speed. And Seattle now has a 3-1 lead. So 3 runs on 4 hits this inning as Fernando Arroyo gets up and throws in the bullpen for Minnesota.
Manny Castillo at 2nd base with a run-scoring double. Fans are still buzzing here at the Metrodome. They're going to see a lot of scooting and sliding around here throughout the balance of the Twins campaigns. This artificial surface can turn a tight ball game into a wild one very quickly. Ground ball chopped foul on the first baseline, and Veda Pinson handles it flawlessly.
Well, the wily old pro, Gaylord Perry, who has seen just about everything in baseball over his illustrious career, was here with the Mariners during their workout yesterday. He looked around and said, you know, it's another hitter's ballpark. They don't make pitcher's parks anymore.
Well, that's a pitcher talking. And a pretty good one. 1-1 pitch. Gets away from Weiniger. Cruz goes to 3rd. Or Castillo goes to 3rd. Scored as a pass ball. So things are not going very well here in the 3rd inning for the Twins. Here's another look. I don't know.
Weiniger looked like he was not expecting what he got, though, because he immediately ran out and talked with Redfern. Get their signal straight.
I think that could very easily have scored a wild pitch. Three balls and a strike to count to Bruce Bhakti. Ball loose in the Twins bullpen. We'll have short time here as it's chased down all the way out into left center.
We have one final from this afternoon. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the San Francisco Giants 4-3 tonight in the National League. St. Louis is at Houston, and Atlanta plays at San Diego, while in the American League it is California at Oakland. Everything else canceled, 2 in the National League and 4 in the American League.
Forrester was the winner of that Dodger victory, and Lavelle the losing pitcher. Infield in. There's a strike. on the inside part of the plate, and it's a full count. There's just one out. The Mariners have tallied 3 times here on 4 hits. 3 singles and Castillo's double. There's a pop-up very high. Wilfong back in the outfield has called for it, makes the catch, and there are 2 gone.
Get a charge out of the crowd watching him here Saturday. They do the same thing. Every time there's a fly ball that goes very high, they all ooh and awe in anticipation that it might hit the roof.
Takes a pretty good shot up there. You can see Castillo talking with Collier at third base as Richie Zisk comes up. Richie flied to center as the leadoff man in the 2nd inning. He's the designated hitter. Fouls one into the mid of Butch Weininger. Pete Redfern trying to pitch out of a big jam here in the 3rd inning after he cruised through the first 6 hitters to face him. Fastball is fouled back upstairs. So he's ahead of Zisk with an 0-2 count.
Zisk about the last remaining power hitter on the Seattle ball club. They gave up power over the offseason, exchanging it for speed.
Well, with Pachorik no longer in the lineup, Zisk may not see quite as many pitches to hit. Fouls another one back, 0-2.
Those seats there you see in the background, those are for football. They fold out of the right field wall and boost the capacity of the stadium from 55, roughly, for baseball to about 62,000 for football. You can see them there way out in right field. There is some talk the Twins might still put a curtain in front of that and make that a complete wall out in right field, which would be about 40 feet high.
Pitch is a little low, and it's 1-2.
I personally would like to see him leave things just the way they are. I'd rather have home runs than having singles bounce off the wall out there, but that's not our decision. And Calvin Griffith says he has not as yet made up his mind.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Scoreboard had 3-2 up. Now it's been changed. 3 runs in. It's 3-1. Mariners lead. Ground ball left side. Should get him out of the inning. Boy throws him out, and the side is retired. It's 3-1 Mariners after 2.5.
The tax break you've been waiting for is here. Hi, I'm Peter Graves for Midwest Federal. Introducing the Insured All Savers Certificate. Now you can really make money saving because your interest is exempt from federal income tax. Up to $2,000 if you file jointly. And depending on your federal tax bracket, this means you can get a higher yield than from other investments. The All Savers Certificate, a one-time opportunity. Don't miss it at Midwest Federal.
I'm Burley Haywood. Our race team has over $100,000 invested in this race car, so we protect our investment with Kendall Motor Oil.
I don't drive a race car, but I have a big investment of my own to protect. So I use Kendall Superb 100 gas-saving motor oil. Its special friction fighters keep my car running smooth and help save gas. You don't have to own a race car to need Kendall protection. You just have to own a car.
Protect your investment with Kendall Confidence.
True Value, more than a name, it's quality. Dependable name brand products at prices you can afford. It's selection, the kind you have a right to expect from the nation's largest hardware chain. And it's service, the added benefit you won't find everywhere else. When you're looking for a store that does more than sell merchandise, look to True Value. More than a name, it's our way of doing business.
Well, we motor along now into the Minnesota half of the 3rd inning. It is 3-1 in favor of Seattle. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Mariners, 1 run on 2 hits from the Twins. A look from the Minnesota dugout along 3rd base. You recall at the Met, the Twins were at 1st base. They've switched to 3rd because of the fact that their clubhouse is back behind the 3rd base dugout, which is a good idea.
Yeah, I'd say that's an
Otherwise,
outstanding
they got a
idea.
walk.
Of course, conversely, the visiting team's clubhouse is behind its dugout too, Bob. So,
but the more plush of the locker rooms, which is the Twins, is located behind the third base dugout.
Well, the Twins will try to play some catch-up baseball now with Rob Wilfong leading off the third. Takes the first pitch outside. Appeal down to Kenny Kaiser. Said no. Rob did not go. It'll be Wilfong, Hatcher, then the top of the order, Jim Eisenreich, for the Minnesota Twins, who trail this game 3-1. Dave Engel accounting for the Twins' lone run. There's a drive to left field. Bhakti is going back near the warning track and makes the catch. Well, there's one out in the Twins' half of the third inning.
Another instance where I thought the ball carried pretty well, Larry. I didn't think Wilfong hit the ball that hard, but it got out to left field pretty well.
Well, the other thing here, too, your depth perception is a little bit off because of the covering, and it changes the outlook of the entire game. The players are somewhat dwarfed as a result of this huge expanse. Hatch takes it outside. We're talking to Bobby Castillo after one of the exhibition games. He said, it looks to me like the pitcher's mound is closer to the plate than in other ballparks because of the surroundings. Pitch is low, and he said, I think that's going to help pitchers mentally because they feel like they're right on top of the plate delivering. 2-0 the count to Hatcher. Drive to left, base hit. Well, Hatcher didn't have much of a spring, but he started coming on the Sunday exhibition against the Phils, and he gets his first hit of the new season, the third for the Twins.
Hatch went down, got that one on the outside part of the plate, was still able to pull it. Bruce Bhakti with the ball up in left field. Hatcher stopping at first. So the Twins have a runner at first, one gone here in the bottom of the third.
The youngster from St. Cloud, Jim Eisenreich. Good stop by Essien. Rene Latchman feels that Essien is going to be an outstanding value to his pitching staff because he has been around a while. He knows how to handle pitchers. He's a good communicator, and he really feels that he can help this club.
Jim signed with Chicago as a free agent, all set to do the bulk of the catching chores for the White Sox. And lo and behold, last spring, they signed Carlton Fisk. And over the course of the year, I don't think Essien did get in 27 games.
It's kind of a lost soul on that roster. He said, I don't care where I play, just so I get a chance to play. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch low and away. 2-1 the count. Mariners 3 runs on 4 hits. Twins have 1 run on 3, and that was Dave Engel's homer. Gary Gaetti had a triple, was thrown out, attempting to stretch it into an inside the Parker quick toss to first, but Hatch didn't have much of a lead. And the other safety belongs to Hatcher. There's a strike at the knees. Eisenreich, one of the non-roster invitees to land a spot on the 25-man big league roster. He struck him out.
Went for a bad one there.
Third strikeout for Bannister.
The designated hitter, Gary Ward.
So it'll be up to Gary Ward. That was the 4th strikeout for Bannister. He got Butch Weiniger to end the second inning. Got Herbeck, who led off the second. And Roy Smalley took a called third to wind up the Twins half of the first. Big surprise for Bob Stoddard, the big right-hander for the Mariners, who was scheduled to pitch the third game here at the Metrodome, and just before the Mariners broke camp, he was sent down.
Guess he won't be pitching the third game.
That's true. First pitch to Gary Ward outside.
Twins have a new uniforms this year, Larry. The names are not on the back for the home version. The road version will still be the powder blue, and the names will be on the back of the road uniforms. Calvin Griffith thought that the uniform here at the Metrodome got a little cluttered.
1-0 pitch, hit sharply to short. Cruz to Cruz, and the side is retired. After 3 complete at the Metrodome, it's 3-1 Seattle.
Back in 1891, Midwest Federal started with a small office in this building and a goal: to help Midwesterners grow and prosper. As years passed, Midwest Federal was right there, providing home loans and insured savings. Today, with convenient locations all over town and $1.8 billion in assets, the sign of the tree is stronger and more secure than ever. We're constantly finding new ways to help you get more for your money, and we'll be at it for generations to come.
Excuse me. Oh, hello. You're new, aren't you?
I've just discovered the Midwesterners Club.
It's the hottest club in town. Stretches money, free safe deposit box, 10% discount with merchants all around town, free club room for hospitality and meeting friends.
All with a qualifying savings balance or checking balance or both.
It's an exclusive club.
At the sign of the good tree to come to for shelter.
That's Midwest Federal. Could I get you some coffee?
Fine.
Bob Kurtz and Larry Osterman back at the Metrodome, downtown Minneapolis. It is 3-1 in favor of Seattle. The Mariners coming to bat here in the 4th inning. Seattle last year won 44 and lost 65 during the abbreviated season. They were 21-36 the first half. Ori Wills exiting, Renee Latchman coming on as the manager, and then 23-29 the second half. They finished in 5th place in the American League West, half game behind the 4th place Twins, and for the first time in Seattle history, they printed playoff tickets. Of course, they didn't need them.
They had a sensational start to begin the second half last year.
Remember at whose expense?
Yeah. Yeah, and it cost the Twins dearly, as it turned out, going into the stretch. Collins looks at the ball. Collins was with the Royals for 6 seasons. Played in 3 American League playoffs. There's a shot. Great play by Gaetti, who leaned hard. It was right backhanded it, and it's out number 1. Oh, that ball was really ripped.
And had it got past Gaetti, it would have been a double. Slam. And there's the major league reaction time there at third base. Of course, we're used to that around here with John Castino.
Well, the Twins are indeed fortunate to have a young man like this step in the absence of Castino. This is Joe Simpson, who flied to center to end the Mariners' half of the second inning. He fouls it at the plate.
Good to see Butch Weiniger back behind the plate. Simpson had an outstanding collegiate career at the University of Oklahoma. He set several school records there. Was an All-American his senior year, which dates back to 1973. Started as a Los Angeles Dodger, and Seattle purchased his contract from a Dodger organization on March the 28th of '79.
He's got some speed, too. He was second only to Julio Cruz in stolen bases on the club in the second half last year, and has an outstanding arm. Right now, he's fallen behind Redfern, 0-2. Fouls it back into the seats. Redfern got the first 6 men to face him, and then gave up 4 safeties in the third when the Mariners tallied 3 times. Since the double to Castillo that drove home the 3rd run of the 3rd inning, Redfern has settled down and has retired 3 in a row. Now he's working 0-2 to Simpson. He changed it up, and it's fouled out of play. Simpson, originally drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 1973. He's been around a while. Was up with the Dodgers in 75 briefly, 76, 7, and 8, and then came to the Mariners in 79. Again, the 0-2 pitch. Fastball is popped foul. This will come back into the seats.
The one thing for Redfern, he's throwing strikes.
Right.
Festive atmosphere, as you can see, at the Metrodome. Same 2 teams go at it again tomorrow night. 7:35 is game time here at the Metrodome. They're expecting a much smaller crowd. And then Thursday afternoon, these 2 teams will wind it up with the old businessman special at 12:15. It'll be game time on Thursday.
Call strike 3. Well, there are 2 out in the Mariners' 4th. Second strikeout for Redfern. Now, those fans attending on Wednesday will have a little bonus going with the White Sox and Toronto's playing in an exhibition game following the completion. Thursday.
Not sure. I think that's separate, Larry.
Read the notes.
Oh, was it on the notes? I didn't know what the deal was for tomorrow. I know they're playing at noon tomorrow.
Well, let's be precise. It says Thursday's game will follow the Twins-Mariners contest as soon as practicable. Tomorrow's game will not be open to the public, but fans attending Thursday afternoon's game are invited to remain for the exhibition. This ball is pretty well hit. It is very well hit. And it's a home run for Jim Mailer, who is now 2 for 2.
Well, that's two that have flown out left field tonight. That is the 5th hit for Seattle, the 4th run they put on the board against Pete Redfern. Mailer's a big kid, 6'4", 230 pounds. And he takes Pete Redfern downtown. Mailer last year had 19 home runs and 99 runs batted in with Spokane. His big home run season was 79 at San Jose when he clubbed out 24.
Now it's a 4-1 ball game. 4 runs on 5 hits. The Mariners have really made those base hits count. Essien takes the strike. First homer for Mailer. His big league career. Fouled at the plate. Billy Gardner looking out from the third base dugout, kind of a somber expression at the moment. His club jumped out front 1-0, but since that time the Mariners have scored 4 unanswered runs. Another foul at the plate. The count is 0-2 on the Mariners catcher. He had a great spring. He had 414 in the Cactus League. Outfield straight up. Eisenreich has come in a shade now. There's a drive to center. Eisenreich drifting off to his left and makes the catch. Side is retired, but the Mariners get another, and it's 4-1 after 3.5.
Championship Hot Rod Pull. Returning to the St. Paul Civic Center Arena Friday and Saturday, April 16th and 17th at 8 p.m. See hot rod trucks and exotic dragster tractors unleash their super horsepower. Some go, some blow. A Go-Go the Gorilla and TNT production. April 16th and 17th at St. Paul Civic Center Arena. Tickets at Civic Center box office and all Dayton's outlets.
Everyone knows fishing comes in 3 parts. Getting there, getting fish, and getting home again. Since 2/3 of your fishing success depends on your motor, it's time you discover what anglers the world over are learning about outboards. If you want reliability,
Miracle Machine. Your Viking dealer now has computerized sewing that allows push-button selection for all your sewing needs. Interchangeable memory cassettes give you perfect buttonholes, zigzag or utility stitches, and fancy sewing stitches. And the most amazing part of all, the 6690 actually writes. See it now at your local Viking dealer.
$290 sewing cabinet free with the purchase of Viking 6690 before April 19th at these authorized dealers.
Well, the Twins opening day lineup, Friday, April the 21st, 1961 at the Met. Zolio Versailles is the shortstop, Lenny Green in center, Don Mincher at first, Bob Allison in right, Jim Lemon in left, Earl Batty catching, Reno Bertoglia at third base, Billy Gardner at second base, and Camilo Pasquale on the mound. Lemon, of course, now a coach with the Twins, and Gardner their manager.
Well, you got to look at our location here at the Metrodome, and that ugly fellow sitting between Bob and I is Tom Reed, who will be back in action before long with the North Stars. Dave Engel leads it off, takes a strike. He has accounted for the Twins' only run, a homer with 2 gone in the opening inning.
Yeah, Tommy's in training. We're going to send him after Al Secord tomorrow at the Met.
He's going to bring the basket.
Now we got the basket for his head. Not sure if it's for Al's or Tom's, but
it'll be Engel, Smalley, and Herbeck for the Twins as they try to get something started against Floyd Bannister, who has scattered 3 hits. 1 a homer, 1 a triple, and 1 a single. Called strike. 1-2. The Cardinals are off and running. They're leading Houston 5-0 in the second inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Engel had an outstanding second half, as you'll recall, last year. Had a little trouble getting on track this spring, however. Breaking pitch, chopped down the third baseline. Castillo charges the throw. Bad throw, and he gets it safely to first base. Probably will be scored as a base hit. It is. So Engel is 2 for 2.
Playing deep at third base, Castillo holds on to it for about 7 steps while he runs. And the throw pulled Mailer off the base at first anyway.
That's the 4th hit of the night for the Twins, and Roy Smalley steps up.
That was not exactly a quick release you saw at third base.
Long drive, but he pulls it foul. Roy hit it right on the nose and had the distance, but pulled it about 15 to 20 feet foul. The thing about this ballpark, I think, Bob, is that this game is really never over until the final out has been posted, because a lot of runs can be scored here, not only with the long ball, but with the ball rolling all the way to the wall on what might normally be a single or a double. That was proven in the Sunday exhibition with the Philadelphia Phillies. Twins were down 11-1. They came back and ultimately lost it 11-8, but they had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 9th inning before Castino bounced into the double play. Foul ball out of play. Still 2 strikes on Smalley.
Had a great show before the game,
wasn't it? It was great.
University of Minnesota marching band taking part. Earl Bailey singing the national anthem. Ariel Humphrey Brown, among others, tossing out the first ball. And from everything we've been able to determine from the people that were outside right up until game time, there were no major traffic difficulties.
Pitch is low and away. 1. Well, the scoreboard says 2-2. It's 1-2.
Now they got it corrected out there. They'll be working on that. They got everything is new here, operated by computer, a little different than the old scoreboard at the Met.
Breaking pitch is hit to shallow left. Bruce Bhakti coming in. Castillo calling him off, makes the catch in foul territory. And there's 1 out in the Twins' 4th.
The one thing, Larry, the Twins want to do this year with this young ball club, and talking with manager Billy Gardner and all his coaches, is avoid what happened last year. That is, get off to a good start. You've got a young ball club. Their confidence a little fragile, obviously, and if you stumble out of the starting gate and fall too much below 500, people get on you, you start to press, and then things go from bad to worse.
I think it is imperative that they get off to, if not a fast start, certainly a decent start. That's Dave Engel being held at first base by Jim Mailer. An infield single to go with his home run has accounted for 2 of the 4 Twins hits. Now big Kent Herbeck steps up. Kent struck out his first at-bat. I'll tell you, if this guy does anything that, well, it's going to be impossible to match what he did during the spring, but if he even comes close, he's going to be one of the exciting players that Minnesota's had around here in a long time. Has a good glove and just tremendous power. There's a drive to left field for a base hit. Engel making the turn will hold with a play in front of him, and the Twins have a couple on with 1 gone here in the 4th.
So Herbeck gets his first hit of season 82. That is hit number 5 for the Minnesotans. Went down and got it, and sent it on a line over the head of Castillo at third base. Out on into left field, Bruce Bhakti. plays the hop. Engel stops at second. And so the Twins have a minor uprising going thus far here in the bottom half of the fourth.
Well, Gary Gaetti, who just missed a home run in his first at-bat, steps up. He was thrown out trying to stretch a triple in two and inside the Parker, but he just about cleared the fence in left center on the fly. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner. 1 strike.
Bannister might be a little more careful this time.
I would think so.
Well, we can't be too careful because he has 2 on already.
We'll see if he works him outside. He gave him the fastball outside in his first delivery. Steps off the mound. He pitches low and inside. 1-1. Carl Keel, the third base coach for the Twins, relaying the signs from Billy Gardner. Big Jim Lemon at his spot at first base, talking with Herbeck. 1 ball, 1 strike. A blast by Gaetti can tie it. Little look at second base as Julio Cruz started in behind Dave Engel, but David went in head first and got back. There's Big Jim. Well, we were talking hitting with him the other day, and he can talk hitting by the hour, by the day with you, and he's always telling you something that's new and interesting. Bannister taking a little extra time. I don't know whether he thinks Engel is going to stray too far or not, but he is certainly keeping an eye on him.
It will be interesting to see whether Gardner has the runners moving to stay out of the double play. Gaetti does not have great speed. Anything hit hard on the ground obviously can be turned for 2.
That's Engel at second base. Herbeck is at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Twins trying to battle from a 4-1 deficit. The 2-1 pitch, in for a strike, and it was a good pitch. Now the count evens at 2-2. Long drive to deep left field. It could be. It is a home run for Gary Gaetti. It'll tie the ball game.
Well, a big blast by number 8, Gary Gaetti. And as soon as he touches home plate, we start anew at 4-4.
Gary Gaetti, who just missed a homer in his first at-bat, has just drilled a 3-run homer and has tied this game at 4-4.
Towering drive to left center field, where it's about 385 feet out there, and he cleared that with room to spare. Engel comes in to score. Herbeck comes in to score. And so does Gary Gaetti.
Butch Weiniger, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat, looking for the 0-1 pitch.
Look how big a smile Kelvin has now.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been talking about all spring, Bob, is this is a young ball club, but there's so much potential there, so much home run potential.
It's going to be a fun club to watch develop. I doubt very seriously they're going to contend for any pennant honors this year. They're very young, and you're asking an awful lot of people to come through, but they are exciting. And there's one of the reasons why. They have got some up-and-coming talent in this organization.
Weiniger, a strikeout victim. That's the 5th strikeout posted by Floyd Bannister, and Rob Wilfong comes up. 4-4 ball game. The Twins with a couple of homers. Mariner's got a round tripper from Jim Mailer. There's a strike. 1-1, the count to Wilfong. Now it's 1-2. Well, win or lose, you know these youngsters are going to be battling all season. They're going to make some mistakes, no question. But they're also going to play some exciting baseball. 1-2 pitch. Foul straight back.
He's spoiled after tonight, but there have been some great plays.
Count stays at the ball and 2 strikes.
And hopefully very soon we get John Castino back. John is talking about playing in that game on Anaheim on Friday night, April the 16th.
Now it's 2-2.
You've got what? You've got Eisenreich in center field, Herbeck at first base trying to make the jump from single A.
Gaetti trying to make it from double A. Strikeout number 6, but the Twins have tied this game.
Numbers game. All you hear from car manufacturers these days are gas mileage claims. But the fact is, you won't get good gas mileage unless you take care of your car, drive sensibly, and use a quality gasoline. That's why you should use Skelly. Skelly helps you get the proper performance out of your new car, your old car, any car at all. At Skelly, we want you to get the most out of your car.
Twins 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Mariners 4 runs on 5, and here's Bob Kurtz as we start the 5th inning.
Todd Cruz, the number 9 hitter in the Seattle lineup, leads off against Redford, goes after the first pitch, skies it to right center field. Engel and Eisenreich are there, and Eisenreich makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 gone. So from Todd Cruz, we go to Julio Cruz. Pete Redfern, who won his last 5 starts a year ago, on the hill for the Twins, the opening day pitcher here in 1982. One ball and no strikes to Julio Cruz, who was a strikeout victim to start the ball game, and then singled to center field in the 3rd, driving in 2 runs. Down even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Redfern was 9-8 for Minnesota last year. Now 2-1 on Cruz. Manny Castillo is in the on-deck circle. We're tied at 4. Seattle batting here in the top half of inning number 5. 3 balls and 1 strike. Redfern has not walked a batter. He has struck out 2, has given up 4 runs on 5 hits. Bannister of Seattle likewise has walked none. He has mowed down 6 strikeout victims. 3-2 now on Cruz. Seattle got 3 runs in the 3rd, a single by Mailer, a single by Essie, and a single by Cruz, and a double by Castillo. 3-2 pitch fouled down the left field line. That will reach the seats. Seattle's other run came in the 4th on a solo home run by Mailer. Twins got 1 in the 1st on a home run by Engel, 3 more in the 4th on a home run by Gary Gaetti.
Well, you look at the Twins hits, they've all come from the kids. Engel with a homer and a single.
Line drive, 1 hop out to left field. Mickey Hatcher up with it. And Julio Cruz has his 2nd hit of the ball game, hit number 6 for Seattle off Pete Redfern.
Herbeck has a single, Gaetti a triple, and a homer, and Hatcher a single. So here's another look at the base hit to left field. All the youngsters are really contributing early in this ball game.
Manny Castillo, who stands 5'9", weighs 170 pounds. Switch hitter, runner going. There's the throw. One hop to Smalley, and Cruz is in with a stolen base. Larry mentioned earlier he has got tremendous speed.
Oh, he had a heck of a jump, too. That wasn't much of an opportunity for Weininger to gun him down. Give you another look at it. Faked the bunt, but Cruz was really roaring.
Well, at one stage, he stole 32 consecutive bases, 4 to end 1980, and his first 28 in 1981. He was caught stealing on the first attempt of the second half of the season by California's Ed Ott on August the 10th to put an end to the streak.
His high water mark was in '78 when he had 59 stolen bases for the Mariners.
Redfern has now fallen behind Castillo 2-0. Castillo has flied to left field and doubled to right. He took third when the ball went past Dave Engel to the wall, and then the throw went to the plate eventually. But it was scored a double. There's a strike. 2-1 the count on Castillo, who hit .302 in spring training for the Mariners. 19 hits in 63 times at bat, as you look at Julio Cruz there leading off a second. Castillo hit .335 last year in Omaha. Was named the American Association's most valuable player. He was signed as a free agent at the age of 16 by the New York Mets. He's a 9-year minor league veteran, has spent the last 4 at the AAA level, and was getting word that he was going to be tagged with the tag minor league ball player, all this despite the fact he's only 24 years old.
Well, you talk about youngsters. They've got an 18-year-old pitcher on this club by the name of Edwin Nunez, who was signed when he was 15 years old.
Youngest player in Major League Baseball. As I mentioned earlier, they also have the oldest player in Major League Baseball, Gaylord Perry. 3 balls and 1 strike to count on Manny Castillo. Leading off second base, Julio Cruz. 1 gone for Seattle here in the 5th. We're tied 4-4. First walk of the ball game. So Castillo goes to first base. Cruz remains at second. 1 out here in the 5th, and Fernando Arroyo heading down to throw again in the Twins bullpen. There are the runners. And there's Nando.
Nando was up earlier in the 3rd inning when Redford ran into a jam and gave up 3 runs on 4 hits.
Batter is Bruce Bhakti, who was bounced to short and popped to second. Rounds it foul past Veda Pinson down the first baseline. 1 strike now, the count on Bhakti. Twins and Mariners will do it again tomorrow night at 7:35. Jim Beatty against Roger Erickson, and then Thursday afternoon at 12:15, Gene Nelson going against Brad Havens.
Cardinals are still leading by 5. It's 6-1 over Houston now. They're in the 4th inning at the Astrodome.
1 ball and 1 strike to count on Bhakti. 2 on, 1 gone for the M's as they bat here in the 5th against Pete Redford. 1-1 pitch swung on and line foul down the left field line. That'll run the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bhakti got off to a slow start last year, hitting just .179 in the month of April. That sort of hampered his bid for a 3rd consecutive 300 season, especially with the strike coming up. He did hit in 12 straight games from August the 13th to the 25th. Wound up the year hitting .260 after hitting .300 for the Mariners in 1980 and .316 in '79. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bounces away from Weininger. The runners will move up. Cruz, rounding third, puts on the brakes. Weininger finally comes up with the ball. Had trouble digging it out apparently along the wall. We couldn't see it from our broadcast location. And so the runners move up to second and third with 1 out. Let's take another look at it.
This is scored as a wild pitch. All squirting away from Butch, and he had trouble retrieving it. Cruz had trouble rounding the bag at third.
And the count on Bhakti even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sends this one foul down the third baseline, so everything will remain the same. 2-2 on Bhakti. Cruz at third base and Castillo at second. Richie Zisk is scheduled up next, a right-handed hitter. Chuck Cottier, the third base coach. Two from Redfern, line to right field. Engel is there. It's deep. Tagging is Cruz. He's got the great speed. Engel doesn't even take a shot at him. Instead, he goes to third. Off the bag and out. At third base is Manny Castillo. He overran the bag, and so the double play will get the Twins out of the inning. The run will count. Seattle scores 1-5.
A perfect egg. Or is it? Magnified 20,000 times, you see imperfections you never knew existed. Look into a car's carburetor, and you may see something you never knew existed. Dirt. Dirt that could impede your car's performance. Fortunately, you can wash dirt away before it accumulates with mobile detergent gasoline. It treats dirt like dirt.
When you're picking a refreshment, you'll find plenty of traffic.
Leo, let's have it.
But remember, it's fresh milk. It's this smooth, this cold, this sun-fresh.
Ending double play. The sacrifice fly by Bruce Bhakti, driving Engel deep, scoring Cruz from third following the catch, but Castillo failed to slide when he went into third base, overran the bag, and Gaetti tags him out.
Look at Kaiser. He loves to make the call. Mickey Hatcher leads it off for the Twins here in the bottom half of the fifth. The Mick has been to the plate once and singled sharply to left field back in the third inning. Hatcher had a tough spring, hitting just 169. But came on, as Larry mentioned, at the end. And the count on the Mick now even at 1-1 strike. Floyd Bannister, the left-hander on the hill for Seattle. Had a career average of 6.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Reached double figures last year 3 times. Misses wide with a heater on that one, and the count goes 2-1. Struck out 11 against Chicago on May 25th, tying the Mariner Club record. 11 against Kansas City in 10 innings, September the 22nd, and then 10 at Detroit on August the 1st. He has fallen behind Hatcher, 3 balls and 1 strike. 21 starts last year, and 5 complete games. Line drive, right center field, base hit for Hatcher, going over the right fielder Collins. He drops the ball. Hatcher heading for second. He slides, and he is out at second base. Collins to the shortstop, Todd Cruz, to cut him down. So a single for Hatcher, the 7th hit for the Twins, and then 9-6 if you're keeping score on the retirement of Hatcher.
Oh, Hatch never broke stride as he rounded first base. He saw Collins bobble the ball, but Collins threw a strike to second base. Hatcher tried to go in with a head-first slide, but he was a dead duck. Very aggressive base running, but in this particular case, probably not a smart move.
Jim Eisenreich, the native of St. Cloud, 0 for 2 tonight. Looks at a bender, a little bit high, 1 ball, no strikes. Eisenreich bounced to shortstop in the first inning and then went down swinging in the third, one of 6 strikeout victims by Bannister. Fouls that one back off the mitt of the catcher Essien, and the count even now at 1-1. Eisenreich trying to make the jump to this ball club from Wisconsin Rapids of the Midwest League. Eisenreich hit .311 there last year with 23 homers and 99 runs batted in. Fouled back, and the count is 1-2.
You mentioned his 23 homers. He also gets a lot of leg hits with that speed. This is Bobby Castillo throwing in the Twins bullpen.
Screwball artist Rick Stelmasic, number 43, the bullpen coach, keeping an eye on the pitcher. 1-2 pitch from Bannister's off the plate, and the count even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eisenreich and Bobby Mitchell The two center fielders carried by the Twins, both hit from the left side. Right back to the mound. 1-3 if you're keeping score, so 2 up and 2 gone for the Minnesotans here in the 5th inning. Bannister rubs up the baseball. Sack's empty, 2 gone, and that'll leave it up to Gary Ward, who has flied to center and been safe on a fielder's choice. So Gary 0 for 2 so far in his 82 debut. Look out. That came back like a rocket, and luckily everybody, I think, got out of the way of that one. We had a situation last year in Texas where a gentleman was not quite so fortunate. 1 strike to count on Gary Ward. Lays off the outside pitch, and the count now goes 1-1. Ward led the Twin outfielders in assists last year with 8. But tonight he finds himself as Billy Gardner's designated hitter, with Mickey Hatcher taking Ward's usual spot in left field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Floyd Bannister started his career with the Houston Astros. He came to Seattle in exchange for shortstop Craig Reynolds on December the 8th, 1978. His best year win-wise was 10 in 1979 with the Mariners. He was 10 and 15. Record-wise, it was last year. He was 9 and 9 with a 4.46 earned run average. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Bannister. Inside, and the count even now at 2-2. Other games around the American League tonight. There's one. That'll be later. Toronto at Detroit was too cold. Same at Chicago, where Boston was to play. Cleveland at Milwaukee, and Texas at New York. They were all weathered out. Governor Al Quie, his wife Gretchen, on hand at the ball game tonight. One of the many dignitaries on hand here in the Metrodome. Here's the. Well, there's going to be a 3-2 pitch to Ward, but also told that Hubert Humphrey III also in attendance at the ball game tonight. 3-2 pitch to Ward. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. That's 7 now for Bannister. That'll do it for the Twins here in the 5th.
If you're looking for a great time and don't want to spend an arm and a leg for it, try bowling at a nearby Diamond Fun Center. Open and league bowling at its best. Food and beverages, games and entertainment. Check these handy locations. Diamond Lake Hilltop, Central Plaza Shopping Center. Diamond Lake South, South Minneapolis. Diamond Lake West, West St. Paul. Earl Brown Bowl and Supper Club, Brooklyn Center. Diamond Lake North, Brooklyn Park. Diamond Lake Midway with the new AMF Magic Score, Snelling and University St. Paul. There's always something happening at a Diamond Fun Center.
Waterbed Gallery, Waterbed Gallery.
Oh, I'm not the boss or anything, but I got to tell you what's going on right now at Waterbed Gallery. It's our Not a Spring sale. Get a complete wood frame system like this for under $200, or a top quality soft cider like this one for just $349. Why do we call this our Not a Spring sale? Because there's not a spring in the place. Just the best buys of the year. Don't you miss it.
Waterbed Gallery, we are Waterbeds.
You've got a ticket on the Heartburn Express. If one Rolaids tablet can't cut the mustard, you should know about one Tums and one Rolaids tablet both neutralize their stomach acid in seconds. But when your stomach turns out 1/3 more acid, Tums can still absorb it. Rolaids can't, not in seconds.
The Minnesota Twins Television Network.
And this is KMSP TV, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Bobby Castillo, the new pitcher for the Twins, coming over from the Dodgers, where he had a 2.4 win-loss record, a 5.29 earned run average, but has had a good deal of success throughout his career.
Now, he was the anchor of the Dodger bullpen 2 years ago, where he appeared in 61 games for the Dodgers, winning 8, losing 6, and posting an earned run average of 2.76. Misses the plate in his first delivery to Richie Zisk. Zisk so far is 0 for 2. He is lined to center and bounced to short. Got that one between Wilfong at first base and Wilfong at second base rather, and Herbeck at first. So Zisk greets Castillo with a base hit to right. That is hit number 7 for the Mariners. They had 6 off the starting pitcher Pete Redfern, who went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, struck out 2 and walked 1,
and was charged with 1 wild pitch.
So Zisk at first base, no one gone for the Mariners as they bat here in the top half of inning number 6. The hitter is Al Collins. Al is 0 for 2. He's popped to short and lined to third. Gary Gaetti making a great play down at the hot corner back in the 4th inning. 1 strike to Al Collins. Longtime Kansas City outfielder, traded to California, then to Detroit finally for Jason Thompson. Fell out of favor in the Motor City, and his contract was purchased by Seattle at the tail end of spring training this year. Zisk not much of a threat to go at first, as the count to Collins even now at a ball and a strike. Collins, of course, involved in that dispute with Ed Farmer, who at the time was with the Chicago White Sox. Farmer's now moved on to the National League. Swing and a miss by Collins, and the count goes 1-2. Seattle with 3 runs in the 3rd inning, 1 in the 4th, and 1 more in the 5th to dispose of Pete Redfern here. One-two from Castillo. High fly ball down the left field line. That's drifting towards foul territory. Coming over to have a look out there was Mickey Hatcher. And the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. Back to first base goes Zisk. And Collins continues his warm-up swings there to the side of the plate. Our next Twins telecast will be on Saturday night, April the 17th. Larry and I will be at the Big A in Anaheim. Second game of a long Twins road trip. Collins fouls it back, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Twins have got quite a homestand here at the Metrodome. Seattle in town again tomorrow night at 7:30, again at 12:15 on Thursday, and the Thursday game will be followed by the Chicago White Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. And Reggie Jackson and the California Angels come to town Friday night at 7:30, Saturday and Sunday at 1:15. Day of rest on Monday, and the next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Billy Martin and the Oakland A's. Weininger knocks it down, and the count now goes 2 balls and 2 strikes to Collins. Tuesday night, the 13th of April, Wednesday night, the 14th of April for the A's, and then Thursday afternoon, the 15th at 12:15. 9-game homestand for the Minnesotans to kick off the '82 season. Then they're on the road to California, Oakland, and Seattle until the end of the month. 3-2 to Collins. Looking down to Chuck Cottier, coaching at third base. There's Zisk at first, held by Herbeck. First base umpire is Jerry Neudecker. 5-4 Mariners here in the 6th. 1 on and nobody out. Full count offering by Castillo. Line to center field. Eisenreich barely moves, and there's 1 away.
And just going on the pitch, and he had a pretty good break on Castillo.
So Zisk remains at first base with now 1 out, and the hitter will be left-handed hitting outfielder Joe Simpson.
Well, a big round of applause as a result of the announcement by Bob Casey, pointing out the fact that there is no smoking allowed in the arena here at the Metrodome, and that's the reason for the big round of applause.
Joe Simpson tonight has flied to center and been called out on strikes. Skies this one to center. Eisenreich coming on. Wilfong going back. Takes a high hop between the 3 of them. The ball is knocked down. Gets away. And Zisk will move over to third base. Eisenreich had started back on that one.
Well, he misjudged it, and it cost him a chance to make the catch, but the big foul-up came after the ball landed on the turf. Took the high hop, and it was knocked away, I believe, by Engel. We'll take another look at it and see who did knock it away as the crowd gathered around the high hopper.
Whoever did it is going to get a knee.
Engel.
Be the first error of the ball game. Second hit off Castillo, the 8th of the ball game for Seattle, and they now have runners at the corners with one out, and the hitter, the first baseman, Jim Mailer, who homered his last time at bat. He singled and scored a run in the 3rd inning, and then put one in the left field seats in the 4th. He is the pride and joy of the Seattle farm system. 1 ball and no strikes. There's Richie Zisk at third base. Joe Simpson over at first. 1 gone for Seattle. They lead the Twins 5-4 here in the top of the 6th at the Dome. Fouled back behind the plate, and the count even at a ball and a strike. Mailer last year at Spokane hit .305. He was Seattle's first-round pick in the regular phase of the January '78 free agent draft. He was the 5th player chosen. Bobby Castillo and Bobby Mitchell came to the Twins from the Dodgers during the offseason. There goes the runner at first, Simpson, as Mailer lines it to left. Tagging at third base is Zisk, testing the arm of Mickey Hatcher, cut off by the third baseman Gaetti, and back to first base goes Joe Simpson. So a sacrifice fly by Mailer makes it now a 6-4 ball game for Seattle, as Zisk comes in to score the first run off Castillo, which will be unearned, I would assume. And the catcher, Jim Essien, will be the hitter. So now Simpson at first base with 2 outs, but 1 run in for the Mariners here in the 6th. Essien tonight is 1 for 2. He singled to left field and scored a run in the 3rd, and then flied to center field in the 4th. 1 ball and no strikes on Essien. Essien had a heck of a spring. He hit .414. He didn't do too badly last year, too. Hit .308 with Chicago, but it only 27 ball games. As Carlton Fisk was the love of Chicago's South Side. Line drive right up the middle, cut off by the second baseman Wilfong. The throw to first. Oh, he just failed to get it. Essien does not have the greatest speed in the world. Herbeck gave the big stretch, but Wilfong couldn't get much on the throw. By the time he fielded it, backhanded behind second base.
Here's another look. The reason there was no play at second base is that Simpson was running on it. Wilfong going far beyond the bag, and look at this stretch by Herbeck. Oh.
Let's see that again.
Yeah, well, he's out. Jerry Neudecker said
Neudecker said he's safe, so he's safe. And we'll go to the number 9 hitter, Todd Cruz. So 3 hits this inning for Seattle. They now have runners at first and second with 2 outs. And Cruz, who is 0 for 2, will be the hitter.
It's a 9th hit off Minnesota pitching by the Mariners.
On the corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cruz was slated to be Chicago's starting shortstop last year, but then missed the entire season due to injuries. Lower back strain in spring training sidelined him for the first half of the year. Then working out after the players' strike, he broke a bone in his left hand, and that finished him for the year. Did play a couple of games at Edmonton prior to the resumption of Major League play, and hit .259 in the Pacific Coast League from May the 6th until June the 4th. Ground ball, second base. Wilfong should make the play and does. The Twins are out of the 6th. Seattle, though, gets another run. And after 5
My dad, my friend. Once I asked, how many allowances make $1 zillion? A lot, he said, so start saving. You know, I still have a passbook account at Midwest Federal. They're my friends, and together, we're saving and growing.
All these things and more
Meet the Snapper high-vac lawn machine, engineered for precision lawn care. For spring, the Thatcherizer attachment loosens choking thatch so your lawn breathes easier. The Mulcherizer grinds grass clippings for summer lawn food. Fall leaves are shredded and vacuumed for easy cleanup with a Snapperizer. Take the Snapper high-vac for a test drive at your independent Snapper dealer today. Snapper. Discover the difference.
It's the 1982 Rondo North American BMX Championships and Street Rod Show, brought to you by Iton Chevrolet. See Minnesota's finest street rods, and Jumpin' Jim Pratt attempt to jump 6 Chevettes and a bicycle. See the Bob Harrow Bicycle Freestyle Team. Don't miss the North American BMX Championships and Street Rod Show, April 9th and 10th at the Civic Center. You have a chance to win in the Rondo Great Giveaway. Person number 2,500 through Gates gets $1,000 cash. Person number 5,000 through Gates gets $2,500 cash. Person number 10,000 through the Gates gets $5,000 cash.
Dave Engel, Roy Smalley, and Ken Herbeck are the 3 scheduled hitters for the Twins as we move to the bottom half of the 6th inning. And the Twins trail Seattle here on opening night of 82, 6-4. The Twins grabbed a 1-0 lead in the 1st inning on a home run to left field by Dave Engel. The Mariners, though, made it 3-1. That came in the 3rd, a single by Mailer, a single by Essien, a single by Cruz, and a double by Castillo. Seattle up at the 4-1 in the 4th on a home run by Mailer. The Twins tied it at 4-4 on a 3-run home run by Gary Gaetti in the 4th inning. But Seattle has added a run in the 5th and one in the 6th. They go up by 2 as we move to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Engel with the home run and an infield single, so he is 2 for 2 against Mr. Bannister. Does a dance on that one, and the count goes 1 ball, no strikes. Engel with 11 hits and 60 trips to the plate this spring. Pops this one high in the air and back to second base. Julio Cruz goes back, and at the last minute lets the center fielder have it. He called for the ball, and at the last minute backed out of the way, and Simpson makes the catch. And Julio, what's going on out here?
Well, Simpson is supposed to be in control. The center fielder has control out there and is supposed to call off the infielder, and did. But then it took a circus catch, and a lot of white was showing.
Ice cream cone there for a while. 1 up and 1 gone for the Twins. Bannister's now retired the last 3, and Roy Smalley looks on.
Renee Latchman has come out. He has said something to umpire Bill Haller. I think he wants to find out if Bannister is okay or if he has some sort of a problem. Someone has gone to the bullpen now for the Mariners, and it will not be charged as a visit to the mound. Stanton is throwing in the bullpen for the Mariners.
Well, last year, Bannister had a blister problem on the middle finger of his left hand. He was on the disabled list for 21 days from August the 8th to the 28th. It looked like when Latchman came out, he was pointing to a finger on his throwing hand, saying he was all right. But in any event, he stays in the ball game, and Roy Smalley, who has been called out on strikes and popped to short, is the hitter and fouls the first offering back.
Well, the kids have been doing their share at the plate tonight. We got to get these veterans going.
6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Seattle. 4 runs and 7 hits for the Twins. Good live fastball from Bannister, and Smalley had a good swing at it, but didn't get any of it, and the count now goes 0-2. In the early spring, Roy was swinging the bat very, very well, and then he tailed off a bit. Strike 3. Not sure what Roy was looking for. Apparently a breaking pitch, because Bannister just put that one right down the heart of the plate, and he put a lot of heat on it. That is the 8th strikeout for Bannister, and the 2nd time he's gotten Smalley. So Bannister has been effective, with the exception of a couple of long balls. A solo blast by Engel in the 1st as Herbeck hits, and a 3-run blast by Gaetti in the 4th.
Cardinals have added to their lead over Houston. Now it's 10-1. They're in the 5th inning. There's a look at the scoreboard, and the Dodgers won 4-3 this afternoon over the Giants.
So they're not happy at the Metrodome tonight. Herbeck has a big swing, but fails to connect, and the count goes 0-1. Breaking pitch is wide. One ball and one strike to Kent Herbeck. Herbeck, a strikeout victim in the second, and then singled to left field and scored a run in the fourth. He came in on the 3-run blast by Gary Gaetti along with Dave Engel. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bannister has given up 4 runs. They've all been earned. 7 hits, has struck out 8, and has yet to walk a man. Breaking pitch, grounded to second base. Julio Cruz will make the underhanded toss over to Mailer. 3 up and 3 down for the Twins, and after 6, it's Seattle 6 and Minnesota 4.
Breaker 14. Honeybee, I got a problem out here.
Read you, Big Red. What's up?
Got a flat. Get Harry at Goodyear real quick.
Sure will. Just hang on.
Rely on Goodyear tires and Hit Stop on-farm tire service when you're racing against time. Goodyear tires and Hit Stop on-farm tire service at these nearby locations.
Just reach for KJJO for all the country stars in stereo.
On the road again. Hell, fire up. Fire on the mountain, run, boys, run.
Just reach for KJJO stereo country music.
What a way to make a living.
We'll bring all the country stars right to you. So reach Twin Cities for KJJO in stereo.
Whoa, little fellow, where do you think you're going? We're going to get you back to your mama.
There you go. We got them all. That means it's Miller time. Come on, I'm buying.
Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer.
We are back at the Metrodome, the first jacket day of the season, upcoming here at the Dome on Sunday afternoon. The Twins going against the California Angel, the first 20,000 youngsters coming in. They'll get one of these fine jackets to take home as a souvenir. Reggie Jackson and the California Angels against the Twins this Sunday at 1:15.
We're starting the 7th inning with the top of the order for the Mariners. Cruz takes 1-1. He has 2 hits in 3 trips tonight. Is singled in the 3rd, scored a run, 2 runs, as a matter of fact, and he has scored 2 runs himself. There's a strike on the inside corner. Nice pitch from Castillo. Cruz has his first stolen base of the season. He's had a productive night at the plate. Twins trying to hold him in now. They're trailing 6-4 in the 7th. Ground ball left side. Smalley with a good play. Toss to first. They got him. Cruz with that great speed very nearly beat it out, but Smalley made a nice play, got rid of the ball quickly, and the good stretch by Herbeck turned it into a putout. Here's another look at it. Cruz going for the pitch low and away, hitting it towards Smalley. And Roy got rid of this just about as quickly as he could, and just got him on a very close play at first. So there's 1 out in the Seattle half of the 7th, and Manny Castillo is the hitter. Manny doubled home a run in the 3rd inning, drew a walk in the 5th. He's 1 for 2 officially. Redfern started for the Twins. Castillo came out in the 6th inning, gave up the 6th run of the ball game. It was an unearned run, but nevertheless padded the Mariners' lead to 2. Pitch is high. 6-9-0 for the Mariners, 4-7-1 for the Twins. Brad Havens is throwing in the Minnesota bullpen. He is just standing there right now, but has been warming up. There's a strike. All is quiet in the Mariners bullpen. Bobby Castillo. Fly ball to left center. Eisenreich moving over. However, Hatcher is going to make the play. So there are 2 out in the 7th. The Mariners have not been retired in order since the second inning. Redfern got the first 6 men to face him. Bruce Bhakti, the left fielder, is the hitter. 0 for 2 officially. His sacrifice fly scored a run in the 5th. Chops it foul on the first baseline. Twins battled back earlier. They were trailing 4-1, but Gary Gaetti slammed a 3-run homer following his triple earlier in the game to tie it at 4. Since then, Seattle has added single runs in the 5th and 6th to take the 6-4 lead. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Bruce. Pitch is low, 2-1. Just getting the attendance, 52,279 on hand to witness this historic opener at the Metrodome. Fastball high. Three balls and a strike. And he walked him. First walk off Castillo. Second free pass off Twins pitching tonight. And the Mariners have a runner with 2 out in the 7th inning. That'll bring Richie Zisk to the plate. Richie singled and scored an unearned run in the 6th inning for the Mariners. He's 1 for 3 this evening. Big swing on a breaking pitch. Zisk has had a little pressure added to him with the absence now of Tom Paciorek. But he has had outstanding seasons in the past. No reason not to believe he'll continue the great efforts that he's had at the plate. Chops it foul over by the Twins dugout. The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zisk hit .311 last year. Back in the early part of his big league career, he had .324 at Pittsburgh, .313 at Pittsburgh, and 73 and 74 respectively. There have been 9 putouts in the Twins outfield this evening. The Twins have hit just 3 fly balls for putouts to the Mariners. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Right back through the middle for a base hit. Oh, Zisk picks up his 2nd safety of the night. He's 2 for 4. The 4th hit off Castillo, and the 10th Mariners hit of the evening. So after Castillo had gotten the first 2 men, yields a walk to Bhakti and a single to Zisk, and Al Cowens comes up. Cowens has to be a happy man, given the opportunity to play with Seattle. There was no room for him in Detroit. He is 0 for 3 in his debut with the Mariners. Breaking pitch a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. Bhakti at 2nd, Zisk at 1st. Fastball laced to right field, will score 1 run. Engel races to the corner, bounces away from him, might score 2. Nope, they're going to hold him up at 3rd base. As the throw comes into Wilfong, Bhakti scores the 7th run of the night for Seattle. Zisk goes to 3rd base, and Al Cowens is perched at 2nd base with a double. Here's another look as he goes to the opposite field. And that's the 11th hit of the night for Seattle.
See how quickly that ball moves in that artificial super turf? Just hit out in right field and kept right on going as Bhakti comes in to score for the Mariners. They now have a 7-4 lead over the Twins. Cowens at 2nd base.
They're going to put Joe Simpson aboard and load him up with 2 gone. Pitch to Jim Mailer. Well, you can see the crowd here this evening is a new attendance record, the largest crowd to attend. 52,279.
It was a regular season game. They had 50,000 for the Dodgers in the 1965 World Series. There's Fernando Arroyo. He was up and throwing earlier, up and throwing again now for the Twins, as Bobby Castillo has got himself in a hole here in the top half of the 7th inning. The bases are loaded with Jim Mailer coming up. And Mailer has hit the ball well all 3 previous trips.
He has a single, home run, and a sacrifice fly. Fouls it straight back. Nice catch.
Oh, Tom Meade Jr. made a great catch and then throws it back down. Holy moly. Tom Reed ran for the exits, but Tom Meade Jr. grabbed it. That's the best catch of the year.
Didn't realize he had such great hands. You can see the cowardice has crept into Tom Reed's old age here. He went roaring on it.
Al Secor is going to be laughing at him tomorrow.
One other item on the attendance, Bobby. This is the largest crowd ever to see a game in Minnesota, 1,683 larger than the 7th game of the 1965 World Series. Count is 0-2 to Mailer. Bases loaded with Mariners, who lead 7-4. Drive up the left center. Great catch made by Hatch. Oh, they're waving it off as it got away. Catcher looked to have made a circus catch, but the ball bounced away as he hit the turf.
Well, the second base umpire, George Maloney, went right out, took a long look at it, and then made the play, or made the call. Hatcher tried to make the play.
2-run score. Here's another look.
Little pop-up. Hatcher coming in from left field, failing to make the play. That number 4 is Eisenreich coming from center. And the ball, as you can see, rolls away from Hatcher. 2 runs come in, and the Mariners now enjoy a 10-4 lead. Or, I'm sorry, 3 runs came in.
Mailer gets 3 RBIs for a total of 4 tonight. That's the 12th hit off Castillo.
12th hit off Twin pitching. 6 off Castillo. Don't make things worse out there for them than they already are.
The scorebook is not looking real good right now. Eisenreich makes the catch to end the 7th. It's
Imitation dairy products in my cooking? Horrors. But how do you tell real dairy foods from imitations? Check the ingredient list or check for the real seal. It tells you at a glance it's a real dairy food. The American Dairy Association assures it. So, to get the taste of real cheese, real cream, read this or see the real seal. Frightfully simple.
You know it's real when you see the real seal.
It's hard to find a real bargain today. Midwest Federal has one, though. Free 5.25% checking if you're age 60 or better. Even if you're not, it's free with a low minimum balance. And with a qualifying deposit, you get membership in the exclusive Midwesterners Club, plus a free safe deposit box. The best part of the bargain is that you can handle your checking and savings at the same convenient place. Strong, stable Midwest Federal. For more than 90 years, a good tree to come to for shelter.
And now there's one more, as Unique Waterbed celebrates the grand opening of the Edina store with super grand opening specials. $150 off the price of the popular soft cider. Save $300 on the luxurious mirrored canopy with mood lighting. Choose from a variety of styles at the best possible prices. Unique Waterbeds, now open in Edina's Yorktown Fashion Mall, also
Metrodome. Look at the Metrodome from outside here. Downtown Minneapolis, corner of 5th and Chicago. 10 runs, 12 hits for Seattle. and 4 runs and 7 hits for the Twins. 28 degrees or less outside. We are at 70 degrees or perhaps a bit more than that inside in a crowd of 52,279 having fun at the Dome tonight. Tomorrow night, the same Mariners here for a 7:35 start. Mr. Roger Erickson will go against Jim Beattie. And then the afternoon game on Thursday at 12:15. And that will feature Gene Nelson against Brad Havens.
Now, the Twins will have to battle back once again. They trail now by 6 big runs, but this man, the last trip up, provided them with 3 to tie the game at 4-4. 1 strike to Gaetti. He has a triple and a 3-run homer. 10-12-0 for Seattle, 4-7-1 for Minnesota. A fly ball to right field, pretty well hit. Collins going back, still back at the wall. Home run! Gary Gaetti has just slammed his 2nd homer of the night. He has a triple and 2 homers, and it'll be a 10-5 ball game when he comes home.
And if Gaetti was 1 step faster, or even a half step faster, he'd have hit 3 home runs tonight. As it is, he has 11 total bases in 3 trips to the plate, and that makes it a 10-5 ball game. Bannister has served up 3 gopher balls tonight, 2 to Gaetti and 1 to Engel. Collins ran out of outfield.
Butch Weiniger steps up. He is 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of strikeouts and pops it straight up. Essien back in foul territory, makes the catch, and there's 1 out.
Twins lost their opening game last year, you might recall, 5-1 to Oakland at the Met. Norris beating Kuzman. As you look at Gary Gaetti in the dugout, they won their opener in 1980 out at Oakland 9-7. The year before that, they won at Oakland 5-3. They opened at Seattle in 78, lost to the Mariners 3-2.
Well, Rob Wilfong has had no success with Floyd Bannister tonight. He's 0 for 2. 1 of 8 strikeouts posted by Bannister was against Wilfong. 1 strike to count. Atlanta failed to score at San Diego. They're in the bottom of the 1st now at San Diego. 2 strikes. Cardinals leading Houston 10-1 there in the 5th inning at the Astrodome. Dodgers beat the Giants 4-3 this afternoon. Montreal at Pittsburgh and New York at Philadelphia weathered out.
In all, 6 games weathered out today, 2 in the National League and 4 more in the American League. And more will be upcoming again tomorrow. Last we heard, there was 5 inches of snow on the ground at Detroit as Wilfong becomes a strikeout victim. That is the 9th recorded by Bannister. 7 inches of snow on the ground at Chicago. It's snowing out east.
This is Mickey Hatcher. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Single in the 3rd, was thrown out trying to stretch his single to 2 in the 5th inning. It'll take a while for that snow to melt. We were talking in the press room prior to the game. You have 2 teams here that each have domes. They're playing each other. One dome is sitting idle. Talking with Randy Adamak, the public relations director for the Mariners. Fly ball to right field. Cowens is going over. Make the catch. Side is retired. He says they open in Anaheim next year. After 7 complete, it is now 10.
Madam, we need fuel.
Not here, James. I always buy from an oil company I own.
Don't forget to fill it up at Cenex.
I know, because you always buy from the oil company you own.
When you own part of Cenex, doesn't it make sense to buy from Cenex?
Cenex is the country way, 'cause Cenex is you.
The qualities of the Sanyo video recorder are much like the qualities of a fine athlete. Lean of body, with an economy of movement. Precision.
control, endurance. The equation of attributes that is as close to perfection as humanly possible. The Sanyo video recorder, a world-class performer. Sanyo selected the official video products.
Well, as the Seattle Mariners come to bat here in the 8th inning, the Twins have gone to their third pitcher, Fernando Arroyo, 7-10 last year with an earned run average of 3.94, replaces Bobby Castillo. Castillo went 2 innings, gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, failed to strike out a batter and walk 2.
Todd Cruz, the first man to face Arroyo. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Then we'll go to the top of the homer so far tonight for the Mariners. There never has been a Seattle player, or Mariner player, to hit for the cycle. He needs a triple to complete it. And he'll probably have another at-bat. Mariners had 2 men in the on-deck circle. Bill Haller, very observant, sent one back to the dugout. These umpires see everything. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Arroyo, the third pitcher to work for Billy Gardner's club tonight, delivers low and away, 2-2. There's a knuckler, fouled off. Count stays at 2-2. 10, 12, and 0 for the Mariners. 5, 8, and 1 for the Minnesotans.
Larry Anderson up and throwing there for Seattle.
Two pitch. He's out. First strikeout for Arroyo. Todd Cruz heads for the dugout, and Julio Cruz comes up. Arroyo, the oldest Minnesota player. He's 30 years old. Celebrated his 30th birthday on the 21st of last month. In terms of service, Butch Weiniger is the oldest Twins player as a Minnesota player. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Cruz, who was 2 for 4 tonight. Couple of singles. Drove home 2 runs in the 3rd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a drive to left field, curving toward the line. It is a foul ball. Now these two teams play again here tomorrow evening at 7:35, and we'll wrap it up with a matinee performance on Thursday. Game time 12:15 here at the Metrodome. A lot of good baseball coming up in the early part of this U season. Right here, right back to Arroyo. Oh, a little toss over there to Herbeck, and he got him. 2 out in the 8th, and Manny Castillo comes up.
Third baseman Manny Castillo.
Following the Mariners, it'll be Gene Mock's Angels and then Billy Martin's Oakland A's before the Twins hit the road for their first road trip of the season. And that'll be a long one. 1 strike to count. Castillo doubled home a run in the 3rd inning. 1 for 3 officially. Eisenreich is shaded just slightly toward left center for the left-handed hitter. When the Twins hit the road, they'll go to California, Oakland, and Seattle. Pretty lengthy trip. They'll be playing 3 in Oakland, 3 in California, and 4 in Seattle before coming home with the Tigers on the 27th. And we'll be sending a lot of that action your way from those 3 West Coast cities. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Castillo. Fly ball to left field. Mickey Hatcher coming over near the line. It is foul ball. Well, it looked from here like it was right on the line, but Ken Kaiser said no, it was outside of the line.
Now he has a good view. He is standing right on the stripe, leading out to left field. Fernando Arroyo heaves a sigh of relief. 28 degrees outside.
Does Ken look like he's lost a little weight, or is he buying bigger coats?
That's a good trick.
Looks like he has slimmed down a little. Still has those big, broad shoulders. Pump that iron. Fastball hit to the right side, got underneath the glove of Wilpon. I presume that'll be scored as an error. It is. Rob was a little nonchalant, I think, on it.
And it just squirted under his glove. He's had a fielding record for American League second basemen of .995 2 years ago, and usually fields the position very well. But got handcuffed by that one. Second error by the Twins tonight.
Bakhti takes a strike. He's 0 for 3 this evening. Fernando got the first 2 men, but then Castillo is safe on the error. Another strike. Only in the first 2 innings have the Twins been able to put them down in order. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Minnesota trails by 5. I don't know. It hit the bat, or apparently not.
Sounded like it hit something as it came inside, but apparently it was just the glove of Weiniger. Take another look at it. Yep, just Weiniger's glove. And back it goes. We'll see whether that scored a wild pitch or a pass ball. Wild pitch?
Right. Second one charged against the staff tonight. Pete Redfern was guilty of one earlier.
I want to remind you, the Twins have those 2 Thursday games at 12:15 this week against Seattle, next week against Oakland. Tickets for those games, $6 and $3.
Arroyo is wide with a fastball. The count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Reduction from the normal 8 and 4, so $2 off the good seats, $1 off the outfield seats. Family Days at the Met, also the businessman special. Give you a chance to come out from the office in downtown Minneapolis, take a stroll down to the Dome and see the Twins in action.
Fastball is low. Full count. Well, the Twins cannot afford to give up any more runs here. They got to shut them out and go play offense. Atlanta and San Diego in the second now, no score. There's a called strike 3. Side retired after 7.5. Still 10-5 Mariners.
Midwest Federal is buying Hawaii for the winner of the Hawaiian Grand Slam giveaway. Want to be eligible? Just go register at any Midwest Federal. You may win a first-class round trip for 2 to Honolulu. You'll get there on Western Airlines, the only way to fly. You'll get a good chunk of spending money, too. Plus, you'll be eligible to win $1,000 in honor of the first Twin Grand Slam in the Metrodome. 2 big chances, 1 little registration. We're giving you Hawaii. But don't tell the Islanders.
Here's a question for you. 4 Serta mattresses from Slumberland. Twin, full, queen, and king. Which one costs more? Well, common sense says the big one costs more than the small one, but that's too obvious. In fact, this week at Slumberland, the big one costs the same as the small one. $81 for the mattress, $81 for the box spring, whether it's a twin, full, queen, or king-size Serta bed. Do you realize what a good deal that is? It's such a good deal, we're only going to offer it till Saturday at Slumberland. Don't miss it. It's a good buy.
Kurtz and Larry Osterman back here at the Metrodome. Some of the crowd beginning to file out. Twins at the moment trailed 10-5, and Jesus Vega is going to come on as a pinch hitter. He will bat for Jim Eisenreich as the Twins come to bat here in the top or bottom half of the 8th inning. So Jesus Vega is the hitter. The first man to face Bannister here is Larry Anderson. Continues to throw in the bullpen.
Vega, Ward, and Engel are the scheduled batters to face Bannister now as we open the bottom of the 8th. First pitch outside. Vega had a good spring. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vega hit .429 this spring, had 11 RBIs, 4 homers.
He split last year between Toledo and Tidewater. He was loaned to the New York Mets farm club at Tidewater by the Twins, so that both he and the other Twins first baseman in the system, Kelly Snyder, could get full-time work. Apparently the Mets didn't have any top prospects at first base, so they had an opening on their Tidewater team.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, in case you're wondering, the Twins' individual record for total bases in one game is 12. That's held by many players. And Vega is gone on strikes.
Well, Bannister goes to double figures in strikeouts, Larry. That's his 10th. He did it, as we mentioned earlier, 3 times last year. And he's had a strong, well, I can't say he's had a strong opening performance. He's given up 3 home runs. He's thrown well, though. And, of course, he's had a lot of runs on the scoreboard to work with.
Gary Ward, 0 for 3 tonight, and a strikeout victim in one of those appearances, steps in. Gary Gaetti has 11 total bases this evening. That's 1 short of tying the record. This is fouled upstairs. And as Bob pointed out earlier, had he been a stride faster, he would have turned his triple into an inside-the-park homer and would have tied that record. Triple and 2 homers for the young third baseman. Another foul off the bat of Gary Ward. And Bannister is ahead of the hitter, 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Took something off the breaking pitch, and it came in outside. 2-2.
Mentioned earlier that Bannister tied the club record a year ago with his 11 strikeouts in the game against Chicago, so he's 1 under that right now.
Ground ball left side. Todd Cruz guns him down. There, 2 away.
Well, Bannister has pitched pretty well since giving up that leadoff single to Hatcher in the 5th inning. Hatcher was cut down at second base by the right fielder Collins' throw. He then retired the last 2 batters he faced in the 5th inning, all 3 in the 6th. Did give up the home run to Gaetti, but retired the other 3 in the 7th inning and has nailed the first 2 here in the 8th.
Dave Engel, who is 2 for 3 tonight, a homer and an infield single, steps up with 2 gone in the 8th.
He's retired 10 of the last 11, interrupted only by the home run by Gaetti into the right field seats.
Two 2-0 the count. Three 3-0. Bannister has not walked a batter tonight.
Yes, be a good spot for it with Roy Smalley coming up next.
And Roy is overdue. He is struck out and fouled out. There's a strike, 3-1. Notice they're calling them dome stands here at the Metrodome now rather than home stands. A lot of play off that word. Walked in. So the Twins have a runner with 2 out, and Roy Smalley is coming up. Smalley took a called third in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 6th, and he fouled out to the third baseman in the 4th inning. Actually, the Twins have not gotten much production out of their veterans. It's all come from the youngsters. Weiniger 0 for 3, Wilfong 0 for 3. Ground ball, maybe extra bases now. Ball gets away from Bhakti for just a moment. They'll hold Engel at second base, and the Twins at third base, and the Twins have runners at second and third.
No sense having anybody thrown out at the plate in this situation. When you're trailing by 5, you get a little more conservative. You guard the line in the late innings, but Smalley gets it past Castillo at third. And down into the corner in left field, Bruce Bhakti has a long run for the ball. Engel perhaps could have gone home. But again, the Twins have had Gaetti tossed out at the plate, and they've had Hatcher thrown out at second base tonight. Do not want to risk having a third man cut down on the base pass, as they need 5 runs. Rene Latchman has come out of the Seattle dugout, and he's got a couple of guys throwing out there. Stanton is the right-hander.
Left-hander is Vandenberg. But there'll be no change at this moment with the left-hander Kent Hrbek coming up.
Hrbek so far tonight has just a single, but he has shown that he can hit left-handers. At least he has given a sign that he may be able to hit left-handers. He hit the home run off a left-hander out here against the Philadelphia game.
Twins have 9 hits. 5 have been for extra bases. 3 homers, a triple, and a double. Hrbek 1 for 3 tonight. Strikeout victim. Singled and scored a run in the 4th and bounced out in the 6th. Fouls it back.
It's interesting that he went for the first pitch. Usually when you get a guy in trouble, you lay off the first one unless you get something you really like. As long as Bannister's in the jam, let him throw as many pitches out there as you possibly can.
This is the first time the Twins have had 2 aboard since the 4th inning. There's a base hit for right field. That might get 2 home. Collins picks it up. He guns it to the infield, and 2-run score. And it is now a 10-7 ball game. Well, Kent Hrbek comes up with his second safety of the night, picks up 2 RBIs, and the Twins now have 10 hits for the evening and 7 runs.
Took a little something off the breaking ball, and Hrbek rifles it as someone tosses a firecracker of sorts on the field, and that's going to bring some security measures here, I'm sure, in a hurry. Well, somebody points that guy out and gets him tossed right out of the ballpark.
Cannot have any of that going on.
Indoors or outdoors. So you mentioned that this looks like it could be a run-producing park. Latchman is now coming out. That is going to be the second trip to the mound, obviously, this inning, and that'll be all for Bannister. You know, it's interesting. Seattle traded their ace left-handed reliever, Shane Rawley, who is coveted by most of the teams in the American League, to the New York Yankees. They picked up Gene Nelson, a right-handed starter, among others. But you wonder if they would have had Rawley in the bullpen at this time, Larry, if they wouldn't have given Bannister the hook. He was starting to tire a bit, having gone 7 2/3 innings. The left-hander Hrbek up, but they rode the Rapids with him, and it cost him a couple of runs. And Stanton now comes on to pitch for Seattle. Bannister goes 7 2/3, is charged with a total of 7 runs, leaves responsible for Hrbek still at first base, surrendered a total of 10 hits. He struck out 10 and walked 1. Mike Stanton is a 29-year-old who was signed to a AAA contract by the Mariners on February the 18th of this year, was invited to train with the Major League club, and he made the Major League club. He was with Cleveland a year ago. He went 3-3 in 24 games with the Indians, posting an earned run average of 4.40. He was sold by Cleveland to St. Louis, then assigned by St. Louis to Louisville, and then eventually to Charleston, and finally was given his release upon his request. Well, apparently they're having some restroom difficulties here at the Metrodome because some drains have been clogged by sand and debris in the water, and there's been some overflowing here, and they're apologizing to the crowd. That's what that's all about. But the Twins would like to see a few runs flow across the plate. They've got 2 here in the 8th. They trail 10-7 right now. Hrbek is at first base, and Gaetti, who needs 2 more total bases to set a new Twins record, is at the plate. Larry?
Gary's had quite an eye at a triple and 2 home runs. It's 10-7. The Twins battling back against Seattle. High hard one in tight. Draws a reaction from the 52,000 plus here, although some of those fans have departed. But we still have a huge crowd here at the Metrodome. One ball, 1 strike. Just kind of had to believe he was going to come in with that breaking pitch outside. Herbeck with 2 hits tonight, 2 RBIs. Engel with 2 hits and 1 RBI. Gaetti with 3 hits, 3 RBIs. There's a little looper, drops in for a base hit. Herbeck will have to hold at second, so Gaetti is 4 for 4 this evening. What a opening night he has had, and that will tie the Twins record of 12 total bases.
No, he didn't exactly knock the cover off the ball. It was sort of a little humpback liner out there to left field, but it gets the job done. It was not hit well, but it dropped in front of a left fielder, Bhakti, and so the Twins' rally continues here in the 8th inning.
It's the first 4-hit day of his professional career, minor or majors. There's a strike to Weiniger. Well, you got to get Butch going here. Smalley contributed with a double in this inning. Butch still looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. Twins trail by 3. If Butch can reach that short porch, he can tie this baby up. Ground ball right side. Good play made by Mailer. Toss to the pitcher, Stanton covering, and it retires the side. Twins.
This is a Pella sunroom. It can take your home from dull to dramatic, from dark to light. The Pella sunroom is for relaxing, for having fun, and for entertaining. There's a Pella sunroom for you, only at your Pella window dealer.
For the Pella showroom nearest you, call 623-7640 or check the yellow pages.
Hi, Pat Summerall to talk to you about your local True Value hardware store. He's one of more than 5,000 dealers buying together for less to save you more. But because he owns and operates his own store, his success depends on you. And he has to do more than just offer name brand merchandise, and he does. He also offers friendly, helpful advice. So the next time you see the words True Value on a hardware store, you'll know why True Value is more than just a name. It's their way of doing business.
If you've shopped for a new car lately, you may be a little surprised at what you have to spend. So you might decide to take better care of your present car to make sure it lasts. That's why you should use a quality gasoline and motor oil like Skelly. Skelly helps your car run smoothly mile after mile. At Skelly, we want you to get the most out of your car.
Well, 17 runs on the board at the Metrodome so far tonight. Unfortunately, 10 belong to Seattle. And Fernando Arroyo's job here as the Mariners come to bat in the top half of the 9th inning is to see that the Twins come to bat in the bottom half of the 9th, trailing by no more than the 3 they already trail by. It'll be Richie Zisk, Al Collins, and Joe Simpson to bat against Arroyo, who is pitcher number 3 employed by the Twins here tonight. Pete Redfern worked the first 5, Bobby Castillo the next 2, and now Arroyo to meet Zisk.
Zisk, Collins, and Simpson are the scheduled batters to face Arroyo here in the top of the 9th inning. First pitch outside. 10-12-0 for Seattle, 7-11-2 for the Twins. Ground ball right side, Wilfong backhands it and guns him down. There's 1 out of the 9th.
Out the written authority of the Minnesota Twins, KMSP Television, or Midwest Federal.
Collins doubled and scored a run in the 7th inning when the Mariners put 4 home. He's 1 for 4 this evening. Takes the pitch inside from Arroyo. First time he's faced Fernando this evening. Inside, ball 2. Difference in the ball game, those 4 runs in the 7th by Seattle. Came on 3 hits. Little low, 3-0. A bases-loaded double by Mailer. Big blast in that 7th inning. Got 3 runs home. 3-1 the count. Smalley is pulled over toward third. There's a long drive. This is gone. Cowens hits it a long way up into the left field seats. First hit off Arroyo, first run off Arroyo, and it'll make it an 11-7 ball game.
It's also the 5th home run tonight, one by Mailer and one by Cowens now for Seattle, 2 by Gaetti and 1 for Dave Engel for Minnesota. That's the 4th home run that sailed out to left after none went out to left field over the 2 exhibition games against Philadelphia. I'd say it's carrying pretty well to left field tonight.
Whereas Cowens couldn't have asked for a better pitch to drill. Right up in his power. Here's Simpson. There's a strike. Arroyo fell behind Cowens and then grooved one, and Al made no mistakes. Simpson 1 for 3 tonight.
Now you're talking about the Chicago White Sox, who will be here at the Met on Thursday afternoon. They'll play Toronto immediately following the Twins game with Seattle, so you can come out and make a doubleheader of it. But you talk about the murderer's row that Chicago has.
Fly ball to shallow center. Mitchell coming in. Cannot get to it. Takes a high hop. He's going for second to throw. Not in time. No, it's a double for Joe Simpson.
Take another look at it. Ball not hit particularly well, but sometimes they don't have to be. Bobby Mitchell had ideas of making their big running catch, but then has to pull up because he doesn't want the ball to bounce over his head.
Now, that little delay in waiting for the ball to come down is just enough to give Simpson time to get in with a double.
But I was talking about Chicago and their team of Greg Luzinski and Steve Kemp and all the others they have, Carlton Fisk. It'll be interesting to see how well the ball carries for them in the Metrodome in their exhibition games against Toronto.
But when Milwaukee comes in.
Ooh, free ball day.
Jim Mailer, a high hopper over the head of Arroyo. Smalley charges, throws, and got him. Simpson goes on to third base. There are now 2 out. And Jim Essien will be the hitter. Essien is 2 for 4 tonight. Mariners have a total of 14 hits. The Twins have collected the 11 in what has not been a pitching duel here this evening. Jack Cooper throwing in the bullpen. Jack O'Connor throwing in the bullpen for the Twins. Ground ball left side. Gaetti charges. Makes a nice play, and the side is retired. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Twins need 4 to tie.
Ready, Chris? At Midwest Federal, your 5.25% checking account is like a good hard line drive. With your checking account or savings or both, you can qualify for the exclusive Midwesterners Club. You get a free safe deposit box, downtown club rooms, discounts at 1,000 merchants, and 5.25% checking. And if you're 60 or over, checking is free.
On the next Barney Miller, Dietrich plays the Super Cup.
Put a bullet in his cheek. Upper left quadrant.
And raises little Levitt's hopes.
I'm resigning.
Can I go downstairs and change now, sir?
I'm either going to go or stay. Great. Well, welcome back. If you are.
Thanks for nothing.
Lock up the laughs with Barney Miller Wednesday night at 6 on Channel 9.
Do you have oil spots on your garage floor? If you do, you may be headed for an expensive repair bill. If the leak is from your engine, JB has a product that stops engine oil leaks while you drive, JB Engine Stop Leak. If the leak is from the automatic transmission, use JB Transmission Stop Leak. Both products are guaranteed to stop the leak or your money back. Watch for this JB sign wherever automotive products are sold. Tell him Ed Justice sent you.
Rob Wilfong leads off the 9th and drills it to center. Simpson moves just 1 step and makes the catch. Well, there's 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Mickey Hatcher comes up. It's been a wild one here at the Metrodome this evening. These same two teams will tee off again tomorrow night. Game time 7:35, and they'll wind up the series on Thursday afternoon. First pitch to Hatcher is a ball. There have been 25 hits in this game, 11 for extra bases. There have been 5 homers, a triple, and 5 doubles. A lot of action at the old ball yard. 2-0 the count to Hatcher. The Twins need some base runners. 3-0. Stanton is the second pitcher to work. Bannister went 7 2/3 innings. There's a strike, 3-1. Bobby Mitchell is the on-deck circle, and Hatcher draws a walk. Mitchell came in after Vega had pinch hit for Eisenreich, and will be making his first appearance at the plate for the Twins. Fly ball to left center. Bruce Bhakti going over, as is Simpson, and Simpson makes the catch. There are 2 out. Oh, Gary Ward is the man with 2 out in the 9th inning. Ward has been hitless in 4 trips to the plate this evening. He's gotten the ball out of the infield 1 time. That was in his first at-bat. Hit the ball to center. Well, they're moving Joe Simpson all over in center field. He was in left center and then went racing over and is now shaded toward right center. Breaking pitch on the corner for a strike. Cowens is very deep in right field. Two strikes. Now Stanton is 1 strike away from closing him out here on opening night. Fouls it into the wall in front of the seats down the first baseline. Cardinals having a field day, leading Houston 12-1. That might be a final. They're making some changes on the board. Now it's 14-1.
Now they got the extra point.
Yeah.
1-2.
Very high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 14-2 is the score. Cardinals leading the Astros, and they're scoreless. Atlanta at San Diego in the 4th. And St. Louis-Houston game is in the 8th. Called strike 3, and this ball game ends with the Seattle Mariners posting an 11-7 win over the homestanding Minnesota Twins in the opener of the 1982 campaign.
Well, for the Seattle Mariners, they pick up 11 runs on 14 hits, no errors, and strand a total of 6 runners. And for the Twins, they have 7 runs on 11 hits, 2 errors, and they strand a total of 4. Time of the ball game tonight was 2 hours and 32 minutes. The starter and winner for Seattle is Floyd Bannister. He obviously is 1-0. Pete Redfern, who started the ball game for the Twins, is the loser, and he is now 1-0 and lost 1. And so that will do it here from the opening of the Metrodome. For Jim Moline in the truck and Ward Booth down at the station, along with Bob Nagley, our executive producer Joe Carney up here, along with Tom Meade Jr. And for my play-by-play partner Larry Osterman, I'm Bob Kurtz, wishing you a very pleasant good evening. Once again, our final score, the Seattle Mariners 11 and the Minnesota Twins 7. Our next telecast from the Minnesota Twins will come up on Saturday night, April the 17th. We'll be at the Big A in Anaheim, the Twins against the California Angels. See you then. Good night from downtown Minneapolis.
Gifts provided by Seiko.